Show. How is your day going thus far? Good? Yeah? Good? Good? If not, and you need a little bit of a shake-up, we're making shakers today. That's why it's funny. We are in the right place. It's lovely to be with you. My name is Becky, and we have got the fabulous Rachel on social. I've got wonderful Johnny there in the gallery being our producer. We've got Charlotte in there as well, and we have got our craft expert who is going to be causing us to shake. Because you're not just making one style of shaker, are you, lovely Jan?
Oh, that would be boring, wouldn't it? You know me, I like to do something a bit different. Yes, so the aim of the day today, with it being a masterclass, is to basically show you some different ways of making your shaker elements. So yes, I've got all sorts planned for the show, Becky. Really looking forward to it. We've got some fab products in the lineup as well, so we've tried to incorporate those in the demos for you. So yes, got loads of sparkle today.
And if you do want to be treating yourself to some sparkle, let me tell you this. I've got a little bit of an offer on at the moment. Here at Crafters, we are giving you the opportunity to add more, save more, okay? If you treat yourself to one item today, you pop it in your basket, you check it out, you will get 21% discount on your order. How cool is that, right? But if you add 2 things to your basket and check them out, you get 22% off. 3 things is 23%. 4 things is 24% discount. And if you add a maximum of 5 things to your basket, you will get 25% off. Isn't that brilliant? So if you've had your eyes on a few things, then let me remind you, today could be your day, because the more you add to your basket, the more you are going to save in pounds, pennies, cents, dollars, etc. So we have got that opportunity for you to add more and save more, which is always going to be a great time. There's loads of you getting in with us already today. Hello to Fran's in with us in Maryland. Linny's in with us saying, hi Becky Jan, CTV team. We've got Nian, we've got Mitzi in. Don't forget, if you do want to get social, maybe it's your first time, maybe you've never seen us before, we love nattering to you. We love having your questions. So you can message us in on our socials, okay? So if you do want to head on over to our socials, it's YouTube, Facebook. Oh, that were proper northern. Oh, head on over to Facebook on Tinterweb. Anyway, head on over to Facebook. All of your info is here at the bottom of your screen. And as it is a masterclass today, we have got a number of different shaker style cards. So if you are new, these are really cool cards that have moving elements within them. So it makes the cards really interactive, which is perfect if you have got friends and loved ones that you want to raise a smile with their card. There are elements within these treats today that you're going to have a lot of fun with, and I want to show you our first treat, if I may. It is your slimline cut and emboss folders. So when we talk about embossing, we're talking about creating texture on the surface of our paper or cardstock. But when we're talking about die cutting, we're cutting out elements. These will do them all in one straight pass through your machine, so it saves you a serious amount of time. Let me tell you which ones I've got for you in this offer, because you're getting something that I think could be for all year round. I don't know if I'm meant to say this, but I've been doing like a little bit of a sort of behind the scenes photo shooty thing today. We've been taking photos for like spring, summer. You know, I've had bunny ears on this morning, chomping on a carrot, you know, people throwing flowers at me. And that was just on my way to work. No, not really. But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, how perfect is this for a summertime card? This is your Butterfly Delight I've got in here for you. So these elements cut, that gives you the emboss. So you have these fluttering wings. Then I've got one for you if you are feeling maybe a little bit springtime. Maybe you want to be creating with this flourishing flowers. Again, those lovely elements cut out so that you have that dimension. Then I'm bringing to you in this one great maybe for Mother's Day, your spring blooms. Lovely amount of texture here, quite a modern stance on that one. I love this one, it's so cool. I think this is really unisex. This one is your interlocking circle. I've also got for you your entwined hearts. Then I'm bringing your interlocking squares. Again, really super duper unisex, quite Instagrammable, I think. Then I've got for you your square chevrons. So that is your textured design here. Can you hear it, I wonder? Oh yeah, you can. And then I'm bringing to you your happy hearts and your pretty polka dots. All of these you are getting, and you are saving yourself a massive amount. It's just £87.69 for all of these, or $79.32. So you don't have to choose your favourite. And there is so much you can do with these, isn't there, Jan?
These are so usable, Becky, they really are. And I love the fact that they're that slimline size. I'm very, very guilty of making square cards. I don't know why, it just sort of pleases my eye. I think it feeds the OCD, I'm not sure. But I love the fact that these are on that slimline sort of DL. And whether you want to make them portrait or whether you want to make them in a landscape format, it's just something a wee bit different. Now that doesn't mean that you can't enlarge and make your card bigger. You could add separate panels onto here. You could do this twice. So what we're going to try and do today is incorporate all these lovely products into our shaker theme. So these are perfect for that. So this one's the butterfly one, and you can see the dimension there where those wings just lift out. So that one's just been done on an inked background, and then we've popped some nice glitter card behind so that you can see that when the wings pop out. And then that beautiful floral there has just been cut and embossed with the folder, and then the flowers cut 2 or 3 times in different papers and layered up. So again, just gives you a really nice effect on there. I love this one. Every time I've demonstrated these, my eye's been drawn to this one, and this is just black card with the gilding wax on, which we've seen done loads and loads, and then just adding some of the metallic paint there, and then re-die cutting those flowers again in a different colour cardstock and adding them over the top. Again, we talked about making it a wee bit bigger, so let me just pop those ones down. You can see here where we've just added that extra panel just to make a traditional, I think it's a wee bit bigger than a 7x5, but that more sort of rectangular style, and that's those lovely interlocking circles. And you can see there, that one's actually got those little bits of, oh no it isn't, it's glitter card. I thought it had got shaker bits in there. It's glitter card in the background there. And then the entwined hearts, absolutely beautiful. But you can see these apertures coming in now. Imagine them with acetate behind there, raised up, and that's where you can fit in your shaker pieces. This is the one that had the shakers in, look. Oh, so again, that's those lovely squares. And again, it's got those shaker pieces behind there. And then we've got 3 that are actually proper aperture ones. And this is the one we're going to demonstrate with the square chevrons to start off with. But again, you know, mixing and matching. I'm always talking about mixing and matching with things that you've got in your stash. So I think these were from the Silhouette Animals. Perfect, just fits in there beautifully. Again, we've got those lovely aperture hearts there. So if I show you that one next to the entwined hearts, they are very different in style. You can see we've got the entwined hearts. This one actually punches out the heart as an aperture there. So again, great for popping those shaker pieces behind. And then you've also got those little polka dot circle ones, and again, so these 3 in particular work really, really well with the shaker elements, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Shall we get into a demo?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Let's get into a demo. So we'll pop those to one side, and I chose the chevrons, the square chevrons for this one. It's a hard choice. I was umming and ahhing between the circles and the squares won out just to give us, they've all got texture to them, but I just think that chevron, and we're going to use a piece of mirror card, so that embossing really does show up on here. So I've just chosen a piece of teal mirror card there, and that's what we're going to pass through the folder. So just for the benefit, if there's any new crafters out there, first of all, hi, and I just want to talk about a cut and emboss folder for a second before we get onto the demo. So these are actually a combination of an embossing folder and a metal die. So inside here, I've actually got embedded into my folder some square dies, for example, in this particular one, as opposed to the circles, the hearts and the other shapes. Now yours will come nice and clean. I've obviously had this over some card that's been inked and I've got a nice turquoise tinge to it, but I can live with that. So yeah, the metal in there, and then this is actually foam, the white areas, so that stays in here. Don't think it's card that's stuck in it and be tempted to try and take it out. When we normally die cut things, we've got the luxury of being able to pop it out from the top. You can't do that with this style of folder, so that little bit of foam in there just helps to release the areas that are going to be the apertures. So that stays where it is. We've got that raised embossed detail on this side, and then we've got it recessed on the top. So if you're working with a cardstock that's got a side that you want to see, so I want to see that lovely mirror card as opposed to the back, which is plain, I'm going to make sure that my colour, my mirror, my speciality piece is facing up. All right, so we've got that facing up, and I've just cut it slightly smaller. The folders are actually 8.5 inches tall by 3 3/4 inches wide. My piece measures 8 by 3.5, just so that I've got that nice embossed area, and I'm just going to centre that in between those edges and close this too. All right, and then we're going to pass that through our Gemini. So for a cut and emboss folder, it behaves like an ordinary 2D embossing folder. So whatever machine you're using, whether it's your large Gemini, these will fit through the MIDI, they'll go through the Junior. You want your cutting sandwich for a normal embossing folder. So if it's the electronic machines, it's your 2 clear plates. If it's the Gemini MIDI, this will just go through as it is, with your purple shim just sat underneath it. You don't need to put it inside the other folder. It goes through as it is with the purple shim under it, and then hand turn it through your MIDI. I'm just going to pop it in here, and we're going to pass that through our Gemini. That's going to do it's going to apply the pressure to create that embossed area, and then it's also going to apply enough pressure to actually use that metal work and cut out those 3 square apertures. So just pop that out of there. Okay, and then we'll have a look and do the reveal for you. So again, when I take this out of here, you can see straight away that we've got those apertures in place, and just look at that detail. I love it on the mirror card. You get a really nice effect. And then also, like I said, there was just these elements here, which again, you can save and use these for another card. I wouldn't be throwing those away. These will come in handy for something else. Just literally popped out of where that foam was in there. So we'll pop that one away. Now what I've done ahead of time is I did exactly what I've just done here. Now this is going to be the front of my shaker. So the cardstock itself is a little bit flimsy. I wanted it to be a bit more substantial. So what I did was cut it a second time out of some white stamping card, and I've stuck the 2 together. So you can see here we've got that wibbly wobbly thin one, and here I've got more of a more substantial piece. So obviously with the foam tape on the back, this is going to withstand being shook about with those shaker pieces in. So I'm just going to flit over to that one. I've made a background for my pieces to go on. So I've got a piece of craft card, and then I've just used a piece of stamping card and just inked that up with some pigment ink, and I chose the Oasis to pull out that turquoise theme. Just inked it up with a sponge applicator, splattered some water at it. You can see some elements where it's pushed the ink to one side, and then if I just tilt this into the light and see if you could see it there. It caught it there, didn't it? Where did it go? Lost it now. I got it straight away.
Yeah, you can see it, yeah.
Yeah?
Glitz.
So all I've done there is literally use my crystal overlay sparkle pen and just literally splattered it all over and let it dry. I prefer to let it dry naturally, which is why I did this ahead of time for you. But it just adds that little bit of interest there to the background. So this is what we're going to see through those little shaker windows when we've got our pieces in place. So the next job that we need to do is make sure that these are sealed. All right, so I would be recommending a piece of acetate there to go all the way down the back. Now I was using up scraps, so I ended up with 2 pieces, but it's the same idea here where you've got the 1 and the 2. All right, if you've got a length that will do the whole thing, basically we need to cover those pieces of where the apertures are. All right, so I'm going to put the long piece at the top there. I've just put some of my thin red line tape on there, and just be mindful that if you're using an acetate that comes with a protective sheet on it, remember to take that covering off it. This one does that I'm using. So you'll find that one side of your acetate looks a bit cloudy. And if that's the case, I tend to just use my edge of my pokey tool to lift lift the cloudy part, and it just peels off, all right, which exposes the acetate there. So we're going to pop this one here. That's why I was trying to work out why I put a piece of tape there, but that's why, because that's the centre of that one. And as I say, ideally this would all be one piece, but I was just using up some scraps that I'd got left over from another project. And then you want to make sure that that's really well sealed, because we don't want any of those little shaker pieces to escape. And then I'm just going to use this piece to cover that last aperture there. And this is going to form the basis now of our shaker. So this one's what I would call a traditional shaker card. You've seen us make these many, many times, where we're going to build it up with the foam tape. We're going to say a prayer to the craft god and hope that the back comes off the foam tape for Jan. And then we're going to fill it with some nice little shaker pieces. Me and foam don't get on, Becky.
No.
We have a love-hate relationship. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So just keep everything crossed.
Oh, I will.
All right, so we've now got that lovely frame, but you can see in there now we've got the backing to stop everything falling out. So next job is then to build this up. So I've got my shaker foam, and you want to make sure that all the sections are sealed. So the first thing I'm going to do is pop some of this around that edge. So I'm going to go down near the edge of the apertures and actually take that first line down that edge. Second one at this side. Now then it's up to you whether you want to take the shaker pieces all the way up and down here. In this instance, I'm actually going to bridge these gaps with the tape so that we can contain our little shaker pieces in the windows. Otherwise, what tends to happen is when you pop it on your card, all the shaker pieces fall down to the bottom and there's not a lot going off in these two windows. So for that reason, I'm actually going to bridge this around those apertures so that each one has got its own separate little compartment. Now, this means that you can put different things in your compartments as well. So like with a shaker card, we normally put that lovely shaker mix in, but because we've actually isolated each of these areas, you could put 3 separate items in here. And we're going to do a little bit of that.
Okay.
Now then, what I want to just check now is whether that's going to be stable enough on the edges, or do I want another piece? I think I'm going to run another line just to make it nice and secure.
That's a lovely idea.
On
Whilst
here.
you're doing that, Charlotte has asked a question. Jan, where do you put all your bits and pieces?
Where do I put all my bits and pieces?
Yeah.
Which bits and pieces are we referring
You like
to?
crafty bits and pieces. I presume we're talking about your odds and ends, because you were talking about your, you know, having leftover cut off.
It depends what it is. I'm always talking about my box of gubbins, all right, which is just an old plastic container, and I have all sorts of things in there that don't really have a home. Right. So it might be buttons off. You know when you buy clothes and there's a spare button?
Yeah.
It could be safety pins in there. It could be silk flowers in there. I could have had the foam flowers out and there might be a couple left over. They'd go in there. There might be playing pieces from all sorts of really random stuff that you think, well, that's not going to home. I've not got a drawer for that. I'm not going to box it. It goes in my box of gubbins. And then when I'm talking about finding things for a project, and I'm going to do that in a second, I'll show you what I've dug out of there. It's rummaging through the box of gubbins. The paper scraps I tend to keep with my system that I have in place for cardstock and paper. So if it's paper from a paper pad, I tend to keep that in a plastic wallet with the relevant paper pad, so that when I go to do a project, I will always check that first before I cut into another piece of 12 by 12 or 8 by 8, whatever your paper pad is. Same with the cardstock. I have all my cardstock filed in rainbow order. And again, if there's any offcuts, they sit. Johnny's laughing in my ear. You should know that, Johnny. You know,
order.
OCD kicks in. It's all in rainbow order. It's all got its own colours.
We'll
yeah,
love that.
that's the one. And all the bits are in plastic wallets in front of those folders again, so that I can go to the pieces, what I call my little scraplings first. All right, my little scraplings, yes. I don't throw anything away. And that applies to the rest of my life as well. And my husband gets to the point where he's like, what have you kept this for? You never know. And the minute you throw it away, I'll tell you, that's the bit when you need it. It's like, oh my goodness, you know that box we threw away last week, love, when the bin men came? I need it to put something in, yeah. So I do keep a lot of stuff. I'd be great on that TV programme, you know, the hoarders.
Yeah, yeah.
That's got me all over, yeah. So what we're going to do then is we're going to pop, hopefully, she's saying her prayers, all the tape off, and then I'll show you what I've got for the inside. So I've got a shaker mix, and I've got a container that's got lots of little compartments in that I keep all my sequins and things in. And then I've also got lots of other bits and pieces. So we've got lots of all the creative expressions. I think we've got some of those on the show. They do all the little shimmery bits.
Yeah,
it may be that they are little pieces that have been die cut. You know, there's nothing to stop you putting your die cut piece. If you've got a die that's got maybe lots of little stars in it or lots of little hearts, you could actually put card pieces in as your shaker pieces. You can actually put, I know our Debs Robinson, she's used, you know when you do the inky techniques, and we've done the salt technique on the ink.
Yes.
What happens is that the salt actually absorbs the colours of the ink, and I've seen our Debs use that coloured salt in her shaker areas before now as well, which looks great. So yeah, don't be afraid of things that you can put in there, especially things that make a noise. And that's what we're going to do with one of these now. So I'm going to pop that to one side. I'm going to put my background. I've just made a standard card. This is a piece of A4 in width. All right, let me just put that to one side so it doesn't get stuck to anything. So it's A4 in width, and then I cut it down to 8 3/4. I've cut it down to so that my mat layer just fits on there nicely. So let's get that bit stuck down first, and I'm going to use my Kalal to stick that down. So my all-purpose glue, best friend when you're sticking down anything that's cardstock to cardstock or paper to cardstock, gives you a really nice bond if you like the wet glues. If not, you've got your tape runner, works perfectly well. If you like to use your double-sided tape, absolutely, whatever it is that is your go-to, we're just going to pop that on, ready to be drying off. Okay, and then what I like to do is sort of have a look in that sequin box and pop together what I call a little sequin mix. So that's exactly what I've done here. It's got some turquoise sequins in there. It's got some little tiny silver stars in there as well. So that's going to be my sequin mix. I think there's some iridescent bits in there as well. And then I've also got, these are little tiny micro beads that, again, I've had in my drawer for ages. And I've just got the two colours. This one's pink, but the bottom one has got a mixture of colours in. And I thought what we'd do is we'd pop some of those in because it's going to give a nice little sound when we shake it. So, like you know, I've got everything at the kitchen sink in my bag. So I'm going to get a little spoon out ready to do those with. We've got everything at the ready. So let me have a think. What I'm going to do is put my shaker pieces on here. If we put them into the wells, that's fine. But I personally have trouble getting this straight then when it's all upside down. So what I prefer to do is put the pieces here and then pop that one on top. So I'm going to put the sequin mix top and bottom. So we've got a little bit to go in that top section, like so. And we've got a bit in that bottom section. Okay. And then in the centre, now this is going to be the test because these are all going to roll about, aren't they? Let's have a little look, see if we can contain them. All right, I didn't think that through, did I? They're all going to roll all over the place. We'll see how we go. They're little tiny little beads. So what I want to do is keep, no, here we go, look, stay still.
Nobody breathe.
Don't breathe. It's a good job I put the fan on the floor, isn't it, and not on the desk.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to tempt fate. I'm just going to leave those few like that, okay? And then we can actually pop this one over the back. Now, just because I've got craft card, which is very, very porous, and I've also got inked card underneath, I'm just going to add a little bit of wet glue, just as insurance, to my foam tape as well.
And is that a tacky glue?
This is tacky, yeah, that I decant into the little applicator. So this one's the PVA glue, which is water-based. The all-purpose was the clear solvent-based one. So they all have their own job to do, their own purpose. But again, just because this is very, very absorbent, the craft cord, it's very fibrous. And again, we've got that inked area. So we're going to pop this now and layer this on top to mat and layer over that piece and trap all those lovely little shaker pieces inside. And I'm just going to leave that a second or two. Don't be tempted to pick it up and shake. No. It's like we all do it, we're all eager, we all want to see what it looks like, but just give it a second for that glue to dry. And then as far as decoration's concerned, I had a look through my stash and picked out a couple of my stamp sets that are like marine themed. So I've got a little seahorse, I've got some starfish, I've got some seaweed, and these have all been just stamped out and coloured with those gorgeous colour blend pencils this time, because we've got those on the show as well. So rather, I've had a change from my alcohol markers. So again, we're just going to stick one or two of these on as decoration. And then I've forgotten to do it now. In my box of gubbins, I had these, and I was going to try and put those in with the beads, but I was that eager to get this stuck down that I've forgotten. So we'll pop those back over there, out of the way. And again, we're just going to build up really quickly now, just a little scene. So again, I'm just going to stick with that tacky glue. If you want to add any foam pads to these, you could build a little bit of dimension with them, but I'm just going to go with the tacky glue and just build up a little bit of that sort of underwater. I just thought the turquoise and all the seed beads and everything lent itself to that. And again, you know, you can decorate these with anything. Any of the stamp sets that you've got in your stash, you know, if you've got one that's got animal characters on, the little peekaboo characters look great with this because you can have them peeping out of the apertures. So many different things. Again, mixing and maxing. Have a think what's in your sets, in your stuff at home. So again, I'm just going to pop a couple of these towards the bottom.
Speaking of stuff at home, Jackie has said, Jan, you should show us your craft room and systems.
Everybody keeps saying they want to have a look, and I will get one these days, I will get to it. It's a work in progress, and I keep thinking I've just about got it sorted, and then I have another delivery. And I think, right, I've got to get and fit all that into the systems now. And you get to a point where there physically isn't enough room in said craft room to fit all the bits and pieces that come. So yeah, I'm constantly warring with having stuff all over the floor, and you sort of walk in there, it's like going on to one of these game shows that's an obstacle course, just to get to my chair at the other side of the room. So yeah, one of these days I will, and I've just been talking to our John, because he's been out with his label maker, bless him, and he's got everything labelled up for us so that we know where everything is. And I'm just saying, my husband bought me one a couple of Christmases ago, and I do have lots of things labelled up in the craft room, because I find when I tidy up, I never know where I've put anything. In the mess, it's always there. I know it's in that pile, or it's under that box, but when I tidy up, I never know where anything's gone. So yeah, labels ahoy. I've got labels on my my boxes to tell me what's inside the boxes, and then I've got labels on some of my drawers and things like that, so that I know what's in them, in a hope to try and make. So one of these days, I will do a proper session with the photographs and show you what it's all made up of. I know I'd keep promising it.
That sounds great.
But I want it to look nice for you guys. If I showed it you as a mess, I would be a bit embarrassed, I think.
Oh,
honestly.
We all have a messy craft room though. I do like the idea that you've labelled everything. I can imagine just
there's a place for everything, and it helps with tidying it away as well. I must admit, when it's all labelled, you think, oh yeah, that came out of there. I've not got to worry about where it goes.
Yeah, no, it makes
sense.
Hello to Nee as well, who's saying, since today is Singles Appreciation Day, let me say this to my CCTV team. All of you are singularly the incomparable, one-of-a-kind, best team that us, your viewers, acknowledge and appreciate.
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, no, you're so lovely.
That is lovely. What a nice thing. Do you know, we were just saying earlier, our customers are lovely, aren't they?
We really were saying that.
There's some really nice things, and they put such gorgeous comments. You know, when you've done anything, it sort of really spurs you on and think, yeah, you know, it's good this. And, you know, I get some of the customers don't want to comment on the shows, and they message you, you know, sort of privately. And I don't mind that at all. You know, if you've got questions you want to ask me, you can always find me either on Facebook or on Instagram. And some people like to just send a message, and I will try my best to answer. Yep,
That's
so here we
lovely.
go. I've got a couple of little bits left. We'll not overdo that there. But again, everything should be dry enough now to actually give it a little shake. And you can see that we've got the sequins up at the top and the bottom. And look at those beads having a go round in the centre. Oh, that's making me feel a bit, it's like being on the roller coaster. So let's give that one a turn round for you then. So that's number one. That's the traditional style shaker. We're using that shaker foam tape to build up the barrier for those pieces. And that's using that lovely square chevrons from the aperture embossed folders.
That is absolutely wonderful. Jan, you're getting loads of appreciation. Jackie is saying, I'm excited to watch Jan make shaker cards. I've never made one before, but always wanted
lots of
to.
ideas today.
Well, today is definitely your day. And don't forget, if you do have any questions, we are live right now. If you're watching at 31 minutes, 2 seconds past 2, you are watching live. That's here in the UK. So if you've got any questions for Jan, do let us know. And don't forget, Jackie, that's not the only style of shaker card. So keep tuned and you can have a little look. As a reminder, we were using the slimline cut and emboss sheets for you today, and these were the designs you got to choose from. You've got this summertime, springtime vibes in the butterfly delight and flourishing flowers. You've got absolute perfection for the likes of Mother's Day or just a how are you getting on card with spring blooms. Then I'm bringing to you a really unisex design. It kind of makes me think sort of 1960s twiggy. It's got that kind of feel to it. I love it. This is your interlocking circles. I have got your entwined hearts as well. Of course, great for Valentine's Day, but you know, we love people all year round, right? So a really nice one as well. I've got your interlocking squares. This to me again got that maybe more sort of 70s vibe. You know, I'm thinking sort of Beatles-esque, Herman's Hermits, that kind of thing. I just think it's so quirky. I love it. Very unisex again. Then I'm bringing to you your square chevrons, which we've just used. Don't forget, great for a photo frame. Photo in each one. Sorted. I've also got your happy hearts, and we're bringing to you your pretty polka dots. So this is your collection. Your discount today, you're saving nearly £50 or nearly $55. And don't forget, it's add more, save more, which means if you add just one thing to your basket and check it out today, you save 21%. Yeah, don't forget, you still got all your Club Inspire and all the rest of it. Oh yeah, it's on top of that. And if you add 2 things to your basket, you get 22% off, 3 things to your basket, so on and so forth, up until 25% off if you put 5 things in your basket and check it out today. So bear that in mind, because I've got some more treats to show you, including if you need a stock up on your foam sheets, which as you can see in the traditional sense is really useful for your shaker cards. So this is your double-sided foam sheets. You're getting a 2-pack. You're getting 10 sheets in each, and as you can see, you're getting the different depths in there. You've got a lovely discount, but don't forget, if you check just this out, you're getting 21% off it as well. So well worth bearing that in mind. We have also got for you on the show today your framed sentiments dies. And I will just say, very busy on these ones. I would also like to let you know, we did a little whilst Jan was doing her demo, we did a little double check on the stock of these. I've got, which one was it? Was it these ones? Did you say 10%? Yeah, 10% gone on those ones already, just to let you know. We're bringing to you the framed sentiment stamps. These ones have been really popular already as well, so if you do fancy them, it's a great time to get involved. Let me just tell you what you're going to be getting here. So you're getting the lovely die, which you can use just straight into a card if you so wished. But also you're getting the word here with the outline, so you can cut out the word. That's not written, that's done for you, so it's perfect every time. And then you get your stamps to go with it, so that you can make this personalised depending on who it's for. This is your floral opulence. This one is your daisy frame. I love this one. I think that's great for paper piecing. I mean, it'd be a bit time consuming, but boy oh boy, it would look good. Boy oh boy, does that suit me? Boy oh boy. Anyway, loving frame I've got for you here with those wonderful hearts. Hey up, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? If you wanted to pair this with one of the hearts that I did earlier on to make a different style, you absolutely could. And then I'm bringing to you your botanical frame here, which has got these lovely flora and fauna details, sort of rose-like. And you're getting sentiments in here such as the die is the friends, so you've got things like true friends or best friends, forever friends, etc. So this is a really wonderful collection. 12 elements you're going to be getting on this one. If you're getting it individual, if you're getting the frames and the elements and the 10 sheets of card, then that is your discount deal on your screen, saving £41.58. So a really big discount. Up, save more than you spend. Oh, I love it when that happens. Then I've got another treat to show you if you would like another deal, because let's remember it's add more, save more. We've got to use the framed sentiment stamp die collection. With this one, we're giving to you 12 individual elements, and with these you are getting such a gorgeous design, but not only that, we're going to have a demo too. So we're getting a 25% saving on that. Remembering though, if it's say the 5th thing you add to your basket, 25% discount on the whole thing. So it's well worth making the most of it, isn't it? Shall we chat about the framed sentiment stamp and dies? These are really cool and quirky, aren't they, Jan?
They are. I love the font in these. I have a big thing about fonts, you know, because I love my writing.
Yeah.
But you know, we were talking about it earlier. We were looking at a letter earlier, and I said the first thing I said, wasn't it, Becca? I said, "What a gorgeous font it's in."
You did, yeah.
Yeah, I've got loads saved on my my computer at home, but this one particularly, really, really nice. And the idea with this is that you get a 2-part die, so you can either cut into your design, or you can add the edge piece and cut it out as a topper. And I'll show you what I mean by that when we come to demo. So this one's the birthday wishes there, and we've just got the acetate behind it to create that little window in that one. So absolutely gorgeous. Again, pop in some of your papers behind it just to give it a background drop. And then again, exactly the same die, but look how different it looks done in the different colourways. So this time it's been cut out and made into the topper. So we've used both elements of the die together and made it as a topper, using that, paired that together. That looks like that gorgeous blush and blues, I think it was, the paper pad there, really pretty. Brilliant. And then again, we've got hello in there. So again, popping these on a completely acetate front. All right, we're going to do that with one of the shakers a little bit later in the show. So again, just popping that onto your card there. Looks as if it's floating, really nice. Again, do it with, that's got the sparkle pens there. There's that lovely sparkle ink background in there. Really sultry colours on that one, isn't it?
Yes, beautiful.
Again, you know, whether you want to pop them onto your easel cards, you can actually make them. So again, you can see through that element. Really nice and useful. And I love having a sentiment that's bold enough to be the sort of focal point on your card as well. It doesn't always have to be a stamped image or, you know, sort of a die that's specifically made to make a topper. Again, you've got that with love there. And because of the nature of these, they lend themselves to being that shaker card, and that's exactly what we're going to do with them next. We're going to make that shaker element using this top piece to make, we're not going to cut into the card, I'm going to show you a different way of making your shaker toppers. All right, so those were the samples. Pop those to one side for a second, and then I'm going to bring in, I chose the hello for our demo here. So let me show you what I mean about the 2 pieces. All right, you get an outside cutting edge, and then you get this piece as well. All right, now this one has actually got no external cutting edge. So if we have I'll get our Charlotte to come and have a really close look at it here, and just have a look round the outside edge of the die. You'll see that there are die cut edges here to cut out the little pieces. So where the triangles are, they're going to cut out, but the very outside edge here, there's no die cut edge on there. So this one's going to cut you an aperture into your card, and then all these pieces will pop away to reveal that lettering inside. Thank you, Charlotte. And then if you pop it on with the external cutting edge, which has all been sized up for you, it's going to cut this out and leave you a tiny little frame. all right, which will give you a topper. And that's what we're actually going to do for my design that I need. So let's pop this through the die cutting machine and I'll show you what I mean. Now again, you can do this in two parts. If you're not confident about cutting these together, I would actually cut your topper out first to get the flat piece, and then you can line up your inside piece on top of that topper. But I'm actually going to do these together. I'm going to bring one of my plates in to work on top of, so that I don't have to lift it too much when it's been stuck down. And then what I'm doing is I'm going to position it. There's always room to have that little tiny gap all the way around. And I usually sort of use as a guideline my pokey tool. If you've got this set right, you should be able to run your pokey tool all the way around the outside edge of the die so that it's not overlapping. And this one is definitely a stick it into place, because you don't want those dies to move. If you're using the Gemini, that power, that pressure in the Gemini, if you get your dies together and overlap them, it will damage the metal work. So once they're in position and you're happy with the spacing, get them stuck down. Normal thin metal die, so we're going to bring that normal sandwich in for the Gemini. Now these are all small enough to fit through your smaller machine. So if you use the Junior, they will fit through the Junior, they will also fit through the Midi. They're a wee bit big for the little Mini, obviously, but it doesn't have to be that large Gemini to work with these. And then once we've cut this out, we're going to get that lovely frame with that wording attached across the middle. Okay, so let's pop those back to one side. We're going to release that one off the cardstock there. And again, I'm not too worried about damaging the card because the bit that I want's trapped inside the die there. So just pull that one back. Okay, and then we've got, just take those bits off. And again, this bit in the middle is going to be scrap anyway, so I'm not too worried about the damage. And poke all those pieces out. And then we actually get the bit that I want, and I remove those die elements, is this part here. And you can see how we've got that gorgeous frame there that's going to allow us to do that shaker element behind there. So this is going to be sort of the front part of the design.
Brilliant.
So again, we've got all those little pieces that we can get rid of out of the die in due course. So these are all the sort of scrap pieces, whether you use your die brush, whether you like to use your pokey tool, and then your die's good to go again.
Brilliant.
Okay, so that's all to the side for the rubbish. Now then, what I've done with this, to make this alternate way of making a shaker element, we're actually going to make an element that we can then stick to the top of a card this time. So I'm actually going to make a shaker piece that's an individual piece that we can actually stick then onto the top of the card. So this is really, really fine round the edges. So if I bring my foam in, you can see straight away, it's like, well, Jan, that's going to show when we put it behind here. So the alternate way of doing this is to actually start and what I call stack your die cut pieces. So what I've done is I've snipped away the wording. So just following the lines here, literally keep along that straight edge, and it's just this particular one is only attached in 3 places. So all I'm doing is running my scissors level with the frame, keeping that straight edge and just snipping away the word hello. Now you can save that because you're going to end up with several of these. So again, you can stick them together to make a nice sort of decent weight embellishment for another card. I've got those in a little pot at home. But what it leaves you is that little tiny frame. And then with my tacky glue, so you want something that's going to give you a nice good stick. All right, I've just run glue around the edge here. So again, if you're confident with your tape runner, you could use your tape runner, but because it was so thin, I thought the applicator on this little bottle is perfect for running that fine bead of glue around the edge. And each one of these, because you've got the glue in between it, it's going to strengthen it and create you quite a robust frame. So I've already done, I think, about 6 altogether. And again, the more you stick together, the deeper the frame will be for you to put your pieces inside. So I've already got about 6 of them stuck together here, and you can see the depth of that now. And it's quite, again, really substantial piece. So again, I'm just going to pop this one on the top here and line it up. Because it's being die cut, you can see there that everything lines up beautifully. And then the glue dries clear, so I'm not too worried if some of that glue has actually popped out of here. Just make sure that everything is nicely lined up. I usually sort of check it with my tweezers to make sure that it's all lined up nicely. Okay. And then what I've done is, for the top section, I've left it intact. So like we cut the first one, I've left it all intact. And I've actually stuck that onto a piece of acetate. You can just see here my acetate. So I've literally stuck it on, and it's a nice easy shape to just cut round with the scissors. So we've now got that piece enclosed. This is going to go over the top to seal. And you can see here now that I've actually got quite a good depth in here to put my shaker pieces inside. So let me have a think. We'll do that bit first, and then we'll put the top on afterwards. So again, I've made the background cards ready, because it wasn't necessarily about making the cards today. It was showing you the different ways we can do these shaker elements. So what I've done, I've just got, I think it's 5 3/4, 6 inches. We're going for the 6-inch card blank. All right, I've made a little insert to go inside, and the miss you also comes with the stamp set, with the die set. So each one's got different wording in it. So this one says, hello, miss you. So I've just stamped that inside, and again, we'll pop that in with a little bit of wet glue. I like to sort of link the outsides and the inside of the card together. And it also strengthens it as well, because this one's going to be a top folding card. I often find that if you do these, sometimes they have a habit of
sliding open.
So if you actually pop something on the inside as well as the front, it takes away that sort of top heaviness of the front of the card, because that's usually what makes it start to slide. So again, all I've done is simply stamped it out, inked around the edge, and then I've just used my pen to literally pop a little bit round it, and then I've been out with the old inks just to make a nice background. So this is actually straw bale and the orange inks, literally done. You've seen how I've done it before, where I've just mopped it up off the mat and dried it off, and then I've run it through just an abstract embossing folder. I don't know whether you can actually see that on there. Oh, there, look.
Oh, yeah.
Just to give it a little bit more detail, you know, just to add that little bit more interest. Any embossing folder that you've got there. So again, we'll pop that one onto the card and get that drying.
See, this is why people like Alicia are messaging in saying, Jan in the house, the queen of mixed media.
Oh, bless you.
Also, I can't wait to see what she pulls out of her bag today. We've already had a tiny spoon.
Oh, we've already had the little spoon, yeah. They were laughing the other day. They're like, there's nothing that you've not got in that. But it's like Mary Poppins' bag, because it's not that big, and yet there's all sorts find its way in there. So again, we're just going to leave that to dry a second. And then again, talking of those shaker mixes, this time I've gone with sort of gold sequins and a few peachy ones that I'd got in my stash, again, just to link, you know, nicely with the colours that I'd chosen for the background there. And I actually take these out with my little spoon and just pop them. I've collected all these little bags, and I thought they were ideal for just transporting rather than bringing the whole caboodle here, because the box I've got's about so big, with loads of little compartments in. So what we're going to do this time then is we're going to pop our frame wherever you want it. So whether we want it down in one corner, whether we want it central. I think I'm going to offset it a little bit, because I've popped those couple of little pearls up there. And I've popped some very, very narrow red line tape on the back of here again, just because it's going to go onto a slightly uneven surface and an inked surface. I've gone with the tape there, and I've just popped it round one of the frames. It doesn't need to go around all of it, as long as it's secure on the back of the card there. So again, take that liner off, and we're going to secure this one straight onto the back of the card. Now, if you want to make this as a separate individual piece, as literally a shaker topper, you can put either a piece of pattern paper or a piece of acetate on the back, so that you've got an enclosed shaker element before you attach it to the card. But this time, I'm just going to stick this down. If I can get the backing off here. Here we go. Stick this straight onto my card, and that's one of the reasons I picked that red line tape, because I know it's nice and strong. I want to make sure there's good contact with the card base there, because we're going to trap all those little shaker pieces inside. So again, I'm just going to sort of slightly offset it there. I'm going to make the inside square straight, so that when I put my wording on, the wording's straight, but that other frame is sort of tilted just to one side. And again, make sure that this is well stuck down. Now I reckon with those stuck together, there's 7 pieces there plus this one. I reckon we've got a good 1/4 inch depth. Lovely. Inside here now to put all those little shaker pieces.
Great.
So again, stacking them, this is what I call a stacked shaker card. You know, anything that lends itself, especially if it's a die cut that you can literally just stack on top of each other. And these are easy to make with your nesting die. So for example, you might have a square nesting die and then you could cut a circle in the centre. Or you might have a scalloped circle nesting die and then cut a square in the centre. As long as you keep the dies stuck together so that they're in the same place, you can cut it as many times as you want.
Lovely.
So again, all we're going to do then is pop some shakers inside. Nice and simple, this one. It just takes a little time just to get those layers stacked up and get them dry. And again, we're just going to pop some of that mix inside there.
I have got some glitz on the show for you to do your cards with. I'll show you them later.
And again, I'm just going to spread that out so that it's not too deep. And then we've got this one that we're going to stick onto the top. All right, because we've got that acetate behind it, it's going to trap all those pieces in there. So because I'm going on to the acetate to the frames here, I'm going to stick with the tacky glue there.
Okay, perfect.
And again, you can either pop the tacky glue onto this one. I'm literally just going to follow the back of here and make sure that we've got a nice line of glue. And I love the fact that this dries clear. So if you do happen to be, you know, sort of get a little bit out of place, it is very forgiving. Now don't go anywhere near the letters because we don't want those to get any tackiness on them. Those are going to go over the top of those shaker pieces. So you only want to follow, in this case, the edge of those 2 frames.
Lovely. Actually, Marie has sent in a message saying, I have difficulty with acetate. Sometimes it looks dirty. I can't tell if it has a protective sheet. How do I clean it? Is there a trick? And what is the best way to cut acetate? This is like an acetate 101.
Yeah,
I love it, Marie.
Right, cleaning it, the best thing I've found is a little bit of rubbing alcohol. So if you've got anything like that at home, just on a piece of kitchen towel, that really does clean it up nicely. As far as actual knowing whether it's got a film on it or not, it is quite a hard one, that one. And the only way that you can find out, I usually find it's very, very cloudy. It looks milky and not, acetate should be perfectly transparent. It should look like a piece of window sheet. So if it looks at all cloudy or milky in sort of its appearance, there is usually a piece of film over the top of it. We do quite a lot of our acetate with the film on it. So to get it off, different ways. Now, one of the top tips that one of our lovely customers shared with us last time we were talking about this was using a little bit of tape. So a piece of, you know, either your ordinary tape or a piece of the red line tape, sticking it to it and pulling it will actually release that covering on the back. I tend to just go for a corner where it's not going to be seen and just try my pokey tool. And if it doesn't work on one side, flip it over and it's usually on the other side. Now, as far as cutting is concerned, it behaves better if it's got a partner. Just cutting acetate on its own can sometimes be a bit tricky in the machines. So what I tend to do is give it a cardstock partner or wrap it in a little paper blanket. So if you've got, for example, you wanted to cut this out of your acetate, pop it onto your piece of acetate and then either pop another piece of cardstock behind it so that the metal has got something to grip. Alternatively, if you've got a piece of photocopier paper, fold it in half and pop a little blanket round it. And that also protects it as well, because I don't know about your machines at home, but mine and the ones that we've got here, I've got a lot of scarring on the plates as well, which is what they're made for. Yeah. And that also helps to prevent it transferring to your acetates. It keeps it nice and clean. So hopefully we've covered all those 3 areas there, Becky, and if people give it a try and see what works best for you guys at home.
That's great. Oh, thank you for that. There's loads of questions coming through. I'll throw them at you as we
absolutely.
go, but do keep them coming.
So again, you can see there that lovely bright colour with the inks against the black Very, very effective. And then we've got all those pieces trapped inside those stacked layers. So again, anything that's got a definite outline, stack them up. It alleviates the need for the foam. And the other thing that I find with that is sometimes the foam can be a little bit static. So like we did this one here, you sometimes find that the pieces stick to the outsides of the foam. Now there is a cheat for that as well, because if you've got your little anti-static bag or a little bit of towel, you can just dust round the edge of the stickiness and get rid of it. But doing it this way, there's nothing for it to stick to, so you've got real freedom in where those pieces are actually going to go. You see they're all sort of quite happy to move around there.
Oh, that's
okay, so that was style number 2.
Thank you. I have just had a question in about the card you picked up actually, which was Alicia saying, I have a question. Is the slimline, what is the slimline card base measurement, please? So the
slimline ones that we did to start off with, the actual dies themselves, and I'm fairly certain that they're all the same,
yes,
are actually, the folder itself measures 8.5 inches tall, okay, by 3 3/4 inches. If you work in metric, that's 21.5 centimetres, which is actually the width of your A4 cardstock, and it's 9.5 centimetres across. Now I always cut my card a little bit smaller because you can see around the edge of the design there's a sort of a gap all the way around the edge. So I like my cardstock to be the same size as the pattern inside here. So I cut my cardstock at 8 inches by 3.5. And it just fits in nicely, and you get that edge to edge. If I bring this one back in that we did earlier, you've got that edge to edge embossing there without that sort of line around the outside.
Yes.
And again, it's just personal preference. You know, if you want that framing around the edge of it, cut your cardstock that wee bit bigger. There's no right or wrong. And I'm fairly certain that all the ones in this range are the same size. Yes. They're a standard size for the cut and emboss folders.
They are. Thank you so much for answering that, Jan. If you have been made in love with these, then most certainly do treat yourself to them. So many people saying, this is such a great technique, love all these different shakers. If you would like to recreate it, let me tell you what you're getting in the set. Hello, and the stamp is miss you. We have got these, the ones that the lovely Jan's just demoed with. As well as that, I've got thank you and so much. We've got your birthday wishes from me to you, and we've got with love forever and always. All of these ones you could do in that really cool style Jan's just shown us. So if you do want to get your hands on them, you're saving 25%. But remember, add this to your basket, check it out as one item, you're going to save 21%. If you have 2 things you've got your eyes on, you're saving 22%. And you can do that all the way up to 5 items, giving you an extra 25% off. And actually, with that in mind, how about I give you some time to check out those baskets so that you can sit back, relax and enjoy the rest of our demonstrations. If you've got any questions, throw them our way and I'll pop them to Jan as we go. For now though, check out those baskets and find out more about how you can save extra pennies.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Quick Buy, all your crafting must-haves in a flash. Draw, decorate, and customize your world with the colorful Spectrum Noir acrylic paint markers. Each premium paint marker gives opaque coverage on ceramic, glass, wood, and let's not forget paper, cardstock, and canvas. These versatile markers are filled with highly pigmented premium water-based paint, offering beautiful, rich, and smooth coverage. The colors can be blended together, and the fast-drying opaque paint is ideal for layering. A 3mm bullet tip offers smooth strokes, and a precision valve mechanism allows rich and consistent flow with no clogging. Quick Buy, all your crafting must-haves in a flash. Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
Quiet. The neighbours.
I'm all out of Zoom. I'm so lost without you. I'm not singing.
Lisa, if you email in, don't send a picture of your air fryer. Make sure it's something creative.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us, you give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
Joy, there's not a dry eye in the studio here. Debbie's welling up, I'm welling up.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV, create every day.
Welcome back. Well done to everyone who's checked out their baskets for that Add More, Save More. We are chatting all things shaker cards today. We have already learned 2 different techniques for 2 different styles, if you will, of shaker card. One thing, of course, they all have in common. First off, their creator was the wonderful Jan. Second off, we used some fabulous cards and some acetate. But third off, and possibly the most important, they had that shimmer, sparkle, shaker element. And this is one of the key tools for it. One of my favourite things about this pot is just how ginormous this is. Do you know what? You can't really tell. Get it out. Have a look at how absolutely fantastical, sparkle central this is. It is like a unicorn said to a rainbow, hey, let's be friends. And then they made friends and made a cereal, and they called the cereal Chunky Glitter, and they put it in a pot. It is just like that. I know. Poetry. It is magical, and it's great because it is so nice and chunky, so it's not going to go far in your crafter's card. It's not going to go, it's not going to like seep into all the little cracks of your cards if you've got any, if you're shakers, which can happen sometimes. It's a great pot to have, and today for the massive 50 grams, it's just $5.99 or $7.95, but please do remember that you have got that Add More, Save More. And if you have just tuned in, hiya, where have you been? I hope you've had a lovely day so far. Add More, Save More is on all day today. And what will happen is if you add one thing to your basket, you will get 21% off what you check out of that basket. If you put 2 things in your basket and check out, 22% will come off your bill. And that is all the way up to 5 items, which will give you 25% off. And that's on top of your, your Club Inspire, that's it, yeah. So this is a great time to get involved, and these are lovely ones that, just a little bit of a thought, don't cost that much, but they are an extra item, just saying. So that's one of them if you fancy it. If you would like some other types of sparkle, I have also got for you some Cosmic Shimmer. So let me talk to you about I've got Iced Flakes. Let's do this one first. Iced Flakes is a really interesting one because it has this lovely translucency, but it also has a pearlescence. So each of these, if I just drop a few in the lid for you, you'll be able to see that they are translucent. They are against a whitish background and they are translucent. But they have this wonderful effect, which is almost like, you know, when you're looking into a pond and you see maybe fish just skimming underneath the surface and you see the way that their scales sort of shimmer, like a ghost koi carp. It's that kind of effect. It's really cool. It's like a mother of pearl element. So this is great because it's translucent. So whatever you do is the background, you'll be able to see underneath, but it will give you that shaker element. £9.75 on this one, or $14.49 for that pot. I have got another colour for you as well, which is this really snazzy silver. It's proper silver looking. Again, let me show you exactly what you're getting, because it's good to know, isn't it? So these are the ones you're going to be getting your hands on here. Pop a few in the lid for you. You can see that I've taken a fair few there into the lid, but it hasn't made a dent on the pot. We really have stacked them into this one. Hey up, just wait, hang on, £4.25. Hang on. Really? Okay, yeah, Johnny's saying that is right. I'm amazed. And this one you're getting 25ml on this one. So, yes, if you do want to treat yourself, there you have the opportunity to do so. So you had the iced flakes. I presume this is also 25ml. And then the silver hexagons, 25ml as well. So have a little nosy, see which one is talking to you the most. We have already had 2 fabulous demos from Jan, but we've got loads more to come. As always, we're going to want to make sure we've got the right elements to help us with our crafting. So let's talk about these wonderful frames. I'm showing you this one first because this is the one that Jan is going to be crafting with in just a few moments. So, but you do get the full collection on this one. You're going to be getting 43 individual elements, and you're going to be getting 10 sheets of card that you can work with this too. So again, we've got the die itself, which in this instance, you're getting the outer frame as one die, the inner frame as another, the outer frame of friends and the inner frame for friends. So you're getting all of those dies and all of these stamps in this set. But you're also going to get this one, which is your floral opulent frame, and you've got your birthday boy or birthday girl or happy birthday wishes in there. Then I've also got for you your daisy frame, which has got those wonderful sentiments in it as well, in the stamp, and the celebrate as the die. And last but by no means leaf, the leaf. Last but by no means a leaf, it's the love one that I've got for you, and this has got things like love and kisses or love you and the like. So big discount on this because you're actually saving more than you spend. You're saving nearly £42 or nearly $48. So it's a big amount that you are getting here. You've got all of those ones in the collection. This is the one we're going to be working with right now, and we've got some information too.
I do. I like to show some ideas as well as to what you can do with these, because again, we've picked out some lovely elements that are sort of primarily to work with the shaker cards today. But there's no reason why you can't use these in all of your crafting. You know, whether you're a card maker, they make beautiful frames for photographs if you're a scrapbooker. So yeah, and we've got some, you know, there are square shapes, there are rectangular shapes. So again, this one's been made into that sort of standing easel card, and you can just see here again, aperture cutaway there, and just a little bit of colour added to it with the double layer on the cardstock on that one. Again, same die, but just look how different it looks when you bring in those vibrant colours from the ink pads. So that's had the panel inked there, and it looks a little bit, I would say maybe fuchsia and the orange in the ink pads there, really nice and vibrant. And then again, we've got that next design there, which is the rectangular frame again. So again, using it, cutting it out as a topper, embellishing it. They play beautifully with all the different collections. If you're a collector of Sarah Signature collections, the Nature's Garden collections, you've got these pop-out elements, that decoupage there, you know, loads of different things that they'll play together with. Same one again, just with that acetate in the back there, so you can see how it's created the gap in the back. And again, bringing those inks in. This is the one that we're going to use for the demo, but been very cleverly done, this one, with using the die a couple of times to actually make that sort of floating easel card. So we've actually used it to make the back of the card as well as the front. Very, very cleverly done. And then this one's just floating on a little piece of acetate. So there's no name on that one as to who's made that one, but I do like that. And then you've got those hearts there. Again, even though it's a square frame, we were talking about how to extend them, so you can see the panel there to make it bigger. And again, lend themselves beautifully to having those shaker pieces behind them, which is exactly what we're going to do with our demo. Okay, so that's a little bit of inspiration for you there. We'll pop those over to one side, and then like Becky said, we're going to bring in that botanical frame, nice square one, really, really nice. And I think you also mentioned earlier, Becky, even though you didn't know we were going to do it, paper piecing. Lend themselves really well to the paper piecing, yeah. And we're actually, I've done this ahead of time because the focus wasn't on the paper piecing today, but yeah, areas here that really lend themselves to working with that. So again, you've got that two-piece system, you've got your outside layer, which will either create a beautiful matte layer for the frame, or it will actually cut out the whole frame, which is what we're going to do in a second. And then you've got that detailed piece that's got all that beautiful sort of roses and leaf foliage on there. And then you've got your two elements here which make your mat and then your wording that will mix and match with the little stamps in there. So you've got friends forever, friends are hard to find, friend makes the world a better place, friends are the family we choose for ourselves. Lots of different combinations that you can work with. Now, I haven't actually used the sentiment for this collection, this particular one. I'm just using the framework. And I'm going to bring in a bit of craft card for this one, and we're going to cut this out. So again, if I bring my plate up there ready, and work onto here, we're going to need a little bit of tape to hold it in place. And again, like I said earlier, if you're not confident with cutting them both together, cut the one in first and then you can cut the other one, or you can cut the square first and then actually pop the other one. Gosh, I was a bit frugal there with the cardstock, wasn't I? It only just fits on there, crikey. Do I want to do that, or do I want to cut it in? No, that's why I've done it. That's why I've done it, I remember. We don't need the outside piece. I've cut my cardstock to the size I wanted.
Great.
Which is 6 inches square, and then we're going to cut this to leave a frame.
Okay.
And I'll explain why I did it that way in a second. So again, just lining it up by eye to make sure that we've got an equal amount all the way round. And then again, I'm going to stick it down in the middle because this piece is going to cut away. So that's a waste piece. If it does damage the cardstock, I'm not too worried. Now with the Gemini, we're going to get a beautiful impression without the metal shim. If you find that it's not cut as nicely as you would like it to, try popping that metal shim into your plate combination. I always try them without first because excess pressure can sometimes warp the cardstock. So I always try them first without the metal shim, but if you've got some areas that aren't quite cut, just pop it through again with the addition of that metal shim and it should do the job nicely. Again, this one will fit through your junior. It's 5 by 7 inches, 5.7, so almost 5 3/4 inches square on this particular one, and then the rectangular ones are smaller, so they will all go through that Gemini Junior. And then again, when we take this off, this one's actually cut. And again, I'm just going to turn it over and release the cardstock from the frame there. Pop that to one side for a second. And then there are just a few little pesky pieces there that are clinging on with the static. So once we've got all those popped through there, it is the most gorgeous detail on the frame. Really, really pretty. Okay. So again, let me just grab something that you can see that on better there. Okay. Oh. So it is symmetrical. You've got the same here, and if you flip it all the way around, it's the same at this side, all right? So, told you that I didn't use that outside piece for a reason. When I started prepping this, I actually popped both of these together. So like I showed you with the external edge around it, and I cut them out. But it only left a very, very narrow piece here around the edge of the frame. Now, that's absolutely fine if you're going to use this, you know, on a card without any other elements. But I wanted enough here to actually bring back our foam tape. Okay. So obviously with just that edge that was with the card, with the die itself, it didn't leave me enough room to put my foam tape around the edge, which is why I cut that card that little bit bigger. So we went for a full 6-inch square, and it's given me some space at the sides now to work with. So, talk you through where I got to, because I've done, as I say, some of the paper piecing at home, and this is a perfect opportunity to show you actually. I've brought in that acetate. It's the world's worst thing to see on TV, this. Now this is actually a piece of the one that I use, and it is Crafter's Companion acetate. Now I don't know whether we can pick it up on the screen or not. You can just see over my hand there. It's got quite a milky sort of look to it.
Yeah,
it is quite, it's not nice and clear like you would expect acetate to be. And this is what we were talking about earlier. Now when I turn it over, I can see here in the studio that this side's not as milky.
Yeah.
All right, this one, when I look at it here in the studio, I can see that there is some proper cloudiness. So I'm assuming, rightly or wrongly, that the actual film is on this side. So all I do is go to one of the corners and just with my tool there, just give it a little tiny scratch away from where you're going to work, and you can usually lift it like blisters that back piece. And all you can do then is once you've got it lifted from the corner, it just literally peels away. So again, just to take it off here, look, comes all the way off, and you get that most gorgeous piece of clear acetate now.
Great.
That's got no milky texture to it at all. It's proper see-through now.
Yeah.
All right, and that's what we're actually going to use on the back of that die cut. All right, so we're actually going to stick the acetate right over the back here. So you want to cover the whole area of where that detail is. And for this, I would be using, or I did use, because I've prepared this ready, if I can just find them in my bag, I used my dotty tape pen on the back of all this filigree work, and then I did run a bead of wet glue around the outside to do that framework, all right, to make sure, because again, if we're going to put shaker pieces underneath here, you want to make sure it's all sealed down, all right, so then you're going to get that sort of piece that you can encase your shaker elements in without any problems, all right. So let me bring in the one that I've done at home, and you can see where I've got to with that. So let me bring that back because you can see it better on there. So you can see here that I actually, the first one I cut, I don't know whether you can actually pick up there, is the smaller one. You can just see here there's a little bit of a lip, and this was what it cut out with the square matte layer from the die, and I wasn't convinced that it was actually wide enough to put my tape all the way around the back. So I cut it a second time at this size, and I've literally stuck the two together again. It just makes it a bit more substantial. I often do that with a lot of my die cuts. And then all I've done is I've cut it in pink, and then I've literally sat and pieced some of those pink areas just to show the roses there in the four corners of that, that design, and then added a couple of little gems there just to highlight areas. And then it's got the acetate on the back ready to go. So this is going to be our very top layer. So we're going to need some tape, foam tape on here. So again, flip it over, and we just need to make sure again that it is all the way around and that it's completely sealed. That is one of the biggest tips that I can give you when you're making shaker cards. Don't be tempted, even if it's a little tiny 1/8 of an inch gap, that gap's big enough for a sequin to escape.
Yeah.
You want to proper push it up against that last piece of tape and make sure that it really is tight as it can be, because the sequins are like escape artists. You know, the more you shake it, they'll get out of the tiniest little gap. You think, oh, that bit won't matter. It does. So yeah, just make sure that that tape goes all the way around and that it's nice and secure.
Lovely. We've actually had a quick question in about acetate again. Laura says, with the hunky-dory heavyweight acetate, I can't get the film off to peel. Is there one on that?
I don't think the hunky-dory does have a cover on it, if I remember rightly.
Right.
I've got that heavy-duty one at home, and I don't think it does. I can't answer why some of it does and some of it doesn't. I don't know the theory behind why some acetates have a covering on and some don't. I don't know for what reason. So it's just a case of trying. But if you really are struggling to such an extent, it is probably the fact that there isn't one on it.
Right.
And as I say, acetate should be nice and clear, see through like a window. So if you can see through it perfectly fine and it not be distorted in any way or shape or form, then chances are there isn't any kind of seal on it. All right, but if there is, it's usually got that sort of milky appearance.
Yeah.
Cloudy appearance to it. So that's going to be our top section. We're actually going to pop this on top of a box. So the piece that I've been using here is just a piece of pink cardstock, and we're going to pop a piece of pattern paper in the background so that we've got some detail going on behind there rather than just the pink of the box. So let's get that one stuck down as well. We'll go with oh, I'm more organised than I thought. Thank you. Nice cup of coffee just arrived.
I know.
Oh, they do
he's a
spoil
good
us,
egg,
they do.
isn't he?
It was our John with the coffee, yes. He does look after us, bless him.
He does.
He's just snuck in there at the side and placed it down nice and quiet. So again, we're just going to pop this in the centre there. I've made this slightly smaller than the piece that we're going to pop over the top so that you can't see this. I didn't want to see this through the gap. I just want it in behind. All right, so that one's just a fraction bigger there so that it's all behind it. So we've got our tape at the ready. Now, if you want sort of a larger area, don't forget you can always double up your tape. So if you wanted to take the liner off here and run a second row of this, that would allow you to put more chunkier sort of pieces in your shaker. So maybe even things like thin buttons or beads, things like that. So don't be afraid to build it up higher if that's what you want. We're sticking with the sequins again here, so that one's going to work fine for what I need here. And again, I've just been busy popping bits together. Now, the ones that we've got on the show, the Creative Expressions hexagons, are the silver ones. These are actually the gold version that I've got in my stash at home. So you could easily create this with those silver ones. And then I've just got some pink in there. I've got some iridescent in there. And again, just made that detail that we want. So we're going to pop this in the back. Now, if you wanted to make this area smaller, because obviously we're going to end up with those shaker pieces at the bottom here, which I'm okay with. I don't want to put loads and loads in. But you could actually mask off some of this. Where I've done the paper piecing, you could put some tape here to prevent those pieces going all the way into the corner if you wish. So what I mean by that is to just go behind where that solid area is and literally mask off. In fact, we'll do that on all of them, just so that we've got a little bit less area for all those sequins to hide in. Because they do have a habit of sort of amalgamating at the bottom of your design.
Yeah.
So if we just mask this area off with the tape as well, it means that I'm actually blocking those corners out. Because we've paper pieced, that's not going to show through my design. So let's do that on all four corners there as well.
That's a lovely tip.
Just behind the flowers. I mean, I only chose to paper piece the flowers. These would look really nice with the whole thing done. So, you know, if you've got a couple of different greens to do some of the leaves as well, really, really pretty. They look nice paper piece with things like the glitter card. I just used a textured cardstock in mine, but with the glitter card, it looks lovely. So again, say a couple of prayers and hope that we're good with the tape there. Oh, she spoke too soon.
If in some instances your tape has gotten stuck, because it can happen, can't it? If it's maybe
happens
not
to me
been
regularly, Becky, honestly.
If it's been stored odd or you've had it a while, what would you do? What can you do to fix that?
What I've done in the past, and I think you've just hit the nail on the head, Becky. I think it's to do with the age of the tape, because I used one once that was really old. And when I took my liner off here like this, it actually pulled the surface of the tape off.
Yeah.
So what I had left wasn't sticky.
Yes.
It was tape and it had the dimension, but it had no sticky left on it. So all I did was add my wet glue to it. Yeah. So I've literally just added some wet glue, like I did when you saw me use the other one, across the top. Alternatively, you could probably get away with sticking some of your red line tape on the top of it as well, just to secure it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to worry too much about these ones, because they're not actually serving any purpose other than to mask that area off. So what we're going to do is pop our sequin mix again into here, purely because I find it difficult. Your mind tells you to pop it into the gap that you've created, but then you're into trying to line things up where you can't actually see what's going on.
Yeah.
So I do actually prefer to put all my shaker pieces in the middle here and just keep them in the centre of your design. We get as many of those out as we can because they're all static in the little bag. And just keep them concentrated in the centre area, and then we can actually pop this. And again, I always like to just add that little bit of insurance. Even though my stick is there, the wet glue will seep into the paper and give you a really good adhesion there. So again, it's just like a little insurance policy. And that's just that PVA, the tacky glue there. I'm covered in these bits of sparkle. Get off. Oh, another one. There we go. And then we're going to pop this one right over the top and just line it up with the top of the box now so that I've got a nice even border all the way around. And again, don't be tempted to pick it up and shake it straight away. Give it time for that glue to actually set, and make sure that it's all nice and secure before you start moving anything. And then this time, again, you have got all those beautiful stamps in here. We could have actually made use of the die with the friends, but I just thought coming up next month here in the UK, I know it's a wee bit later over in the States, but in the UK we've got Mother's Day coming up next month, and I just thought this would be a lovely little gift box to pop some goodies in if you're gifting on Mother's Day. So I chose to go with that one. So we'll run a couple of pieces of tape just on the back of there to stick that over the top of my die. I don't want to cover up too much of it, so I sort of chose something that was just a small sentiment. Okay, so that's all ready to go as well, and we're just going to pop that to one side like so. And then the last thing I need to do is just take, and again, I tend to use, you know that I love my red line tape. If you want to use your tape runner, this will work perfectly. It's strong enough construction. Again, if you prefer the wet glues, I know some people wet glue them together and then clamp them. Whatever your way is that works for you, that is absolutely fine. There's never any right or wrong way. People find a way that works for them, and I think go with what you're comfortable with. So again, I'm just going to make a nice right angle on those corners there, and tuck those in. And this is actually just over, I think it's 6 1/4 inches when it's finished. Oh, I've not stuck my sides on. I usually do that while it's flat. I've got some pieces of craft card that I've just run through one of my embossing folders there, just to pop on the sides. And again, I've put some tape on these ready.
I actually had a question earlier on from Alicia to do with embossing. Jan, do you ink before or after you emboss?
It depends what kind of effect you're wanting. So for example, when we made this one, I wanted the ink as the actual background. So this piece of card was all inked up first, and then I put it through the embossing folder, and I didn't put any ink over the top of it. You can actually catch the embossing with your sponge applicator and highlight that if that's the look that you're after. For this one, I actually put this through the embossing folder first, and then I've just used my sponge applicator over the top of it to bring out that detail a little bit more. So it depends on that finished look that you're after, that design. It works both ways. And if you're not sure, have a go on a little bit of scrap and see which way you like best. You know, like I just said earlier, there's no right or wrong with this sort of thing. It's whatever you decide fits the project that you're working with.
Yeah.
So I'm just quickly going to take these off, Becky, and stick them on the edges, and then we'll show you that finished design there.
Loads of you loving this. Marie says, Jan and Becky, thank you so much. It's a gigantic help with the next endeavour with acetate. Hello to Mary saying, very pretty stamp and die collection. I'm glad you are enjoying it. Peg has said, sorry, I missed that. Is there a code that you need? I presume this is for the discount, which is the add more, save more, I presume so. So if you do want that, keep your peepers peeled, keep your eyes at the bottom of the screen. If you go onto the page on the website, it's the home page. and it's right at the front, and it'll just say add more, save more. All the details are there, but it is 21% off if you just check out one item, 22% for 2 items, 3 items gives you 23% off, all the way up to 25%, and it automatically takes it off at the checkout, so you don't need a code. So I think that's what you meant, Peg, sorry, and if it is, I hope that helps.
Right, I've just got that last piece to pop on the side, and normally I would do this while it was flat, but I'd forgotten I'd done the sides for it. I was that eager to get to the shaker bit. I'd forgotten that I'd made the side pieces as well, and the reason I've gone with the craft card is just to mix and match with what's on the top, and then the bottom half of the box that I've already stuck together is actually made of craft card. So I like to sort of, if I'm making boxes, I like to do that two-tone effect with them. So there, we've got that, and it strengthens it all up as well with pieces on. So again, for the base, I've just used the plain craft card, popped another piece inside there just to coordinate, and again, you've got that lovely gift box there. Maybe a bow would have been nice, a little bow on there as well, but just look at all that goodness. Got a few stacked up together in the middle there, they'll work their way loose. There we go. But just really, really pretty, and lend themselves to having that shaker element behind them there. So yeah, happy Mother's Day coming up, as I say, next month here. I think it's June, if I remember rightly, over in the States, isn't it? Yeah, it's a little bit longer to think about it over there, yeah?
So, thank you so much. That is our third style of our shaker card that we've done in this show, and we've still got loads more to come. If you do want to treat yourself to these, the botanical frame, is the one that Jan has just worked with there, and this is what you are getting your hands on. But remember, you're getting 43 elements in total. So you've also got your floral birthday, you have got the daisy frame, and your loving frame. The fact that you're getting all of this with your stamps for just £22.38 is incredible, because whether it's, you know, Valentine's Day, Friendship Day, whether it's, you know, the spring equinox, for example, whether it's changing of the clocks, whether it's a birthday, or whether it's just to say hi to someone, these really are all year round. So to be able to get that for the price on screen is epic. And let me just remind you, you're saving way more than you're spending. But if you check this out and just 4 other items, you can get an extra 25% off. Isn't that cool? It's fab, isn't it? So, well worth treating yourself to. If you would love to create something and add a little bit of colour, may I suggest to you treating yourself to our colour blends. Now, if you have been into colouring and been into, you know, creating wonderful pictures and designs, or even colouring in pictures and designs that have already been created, you may well have worked with many different types of pencil. You will know that there is a great difference. This is a premium quality, highly pigmented, blendable pencil system, which means we can create professional designs that look like this or this each time, and this really is professionalism. If anyone's ever been into, for example, an art shop, you will know that professional artist pencils are not cheap, and you know full well that you do not always get this full range of colours. But today I'm bringing to you a massive range that comes with the blending solution. It's back in stock today. The blending solution is what makes these, which by themselves are epic. I mean, look at the strength of that. That is really highly saturated colour, isn't it? But it doesn't just mean that you're getting that wonderful look and detail. It means that you can professionally blend these. It will give you almost an ombre finish. It will give you almost a type of finish whereby kind of, first off, you can't see your pencil strokes, and second off, it just adds a different layer. It really is like magic. If you've never worked with these before, or maybe you have and you're obsessed too, let us know maybe what is your favourite thing about these. Let us know what you've been colouring in with these. And maybe it would be really helpful, because I know we don't always have the blending solution in. If you were to explain the blending solution in a sentence, let us know on social medias, and we can share it with some of our new people, because it is quite hard to explain, isn't it, when it's so magical. In this one, you're going to be getting the 2 different colour collections, as you can see here, 24 in each of them. So we're bringing to you the natural colours, and we're bringing to you, I just love that you're getting almost flora, fauna colours, you're getting like oceanic colours, you're getting earthy tones in here. So it really is a little bit of something for everyone in this collection. And today, big discount. In fact, you're looking at half price, including that fluid. And of course, you're getting the opportunity to get up to an extra 25% off on top of your Club Inspire collection. If you are thinking, okay, Bex, I need to get my hands on this product or this product, then may I help you possibly treat yourself to a couple more goodies so that you can get a full 25% off. These are the things that we've got for you today that you have the chance to get up to 25% off. Frame, sentiment, stamp and die collection. Don't forget you're getting 12 different elements within here, and you get a free demonstration that Jan did earlier on, which you can watch back at your leisure. But yes, today just £23.97 or $29.85, and that's for all of them. As well as that, I've got these slimline cut and emboss folders. These are 9 pieces, 9-piece collection that you get in here. And yeah, you've got lovely sizes on these ones. Just to remind you, it is 3.75 inches by 8.5, just to give you an idea of size on those ones. And as a reminder, you are getting all of those ones you can see on your screen for that fabulous deal on discount price there. I've also got for you your floral frames. So anybody maybe in your family who loves something a little bit kind of romantic almost, something a little bit outdoorsy. Maybe you've got someone who's a bit of horticulturalist. Then you've got loads of different flower types in this one, including but not limited to the likes of your roses and your lilies. And you've got like wildflowers like poppies in there as well. Today, £27.27 or $31.39. Don't forget though, I've also got for you the frame, stamp and die collection. This again, we've had a lovely demonstration from Jan with. It also comes with the 10 sheets of your card, which as you can see is the Centura metallic as well. And I will just remind you, that price on your screen, okay, give yourself another minimum 21% off. Because that's what we're dealing with here. If you check this out whilst you're watching live, then nobody pays $21.38, which is pretty cool, isn't it? Especially with your platinum, Club Inspire, deals. So do seize the moment on that one. We have got the incredible Sharon Callis as well with this deals today. Heartfelt greetings. You're getting 12 different elements within here. Should be nearly 60 quid. Today, half price for you. I just want to remind you that when you're getting your hands on these goodies, you're getting that extra discount deal. No code needed, so make the most of it. Who needs a little stock up, a little stash topper-upper of foam? Yeah, we use it a lot, don't we? Especially with shaker cards. I mean, blimey, Jan will only be able to tell you how many meters we will have gone through it by the end of the day. We have got for you the 3D foam. We're bringing it to you in selections. We're bringing you the tape. We're bringing you on different size and thicknesses as well. So massive amount that you have to stock up on there, saving 15% unless you're a platinum when it's less than a tenner, which is nice. If you want a sheet of your foam, which can be really nice for making larger designs, but also you can cut this through in your machines as well. We're bringing it to you in the different sizes, 10 sheets in total across the 2 packs, and you're getting those different thicknesses as well. £13.58, nobody pays because you got that discount, or $20.38 for you today. I will just remind you, today is your chance to get the add more, save more. So you can save up to 25%. How do you do it? Head over to our homepage to find out exactly how, but it's as easy as putting 5 things that you want or need in your basket and checking them out. It's that simple. If you do fancy doing it, then go ahead and do so. No swag bag needed. But let me tell you that if you do fancy getting your hands on a little bit of swag, we have definitely got treats in store for you on the show today, including the framed sentiment stamp and die collection. And this is the elements with 12 different elements in total. So you have got the opportunity to treat yourself today if you wanted. We are talking more elements of shakers now, and we have the opportunity to inspire you. I will just remind you, we are on social medias, plural. We are live, so if you do have any questions right now, is your chance to ask us. If it is approximately 20 to 4 in the afternoon here in the UK, do feel free to message us in. Jan, what have you got over there?
Right, so I did say at the top of the show that I was going to show you 3 different ways of making your shaker cards. So that's what we're going to do here now. So this one's actually fairly straightforward. There isn't a product involved in this one. I just wanted to show you the actual concept behind it. So at the top of the show, if you've been with us from the beginning, we started out with those aperture emboss folders, and we used what I call that traditional method, whereby we used our foam tape to build up the back of the frame in order to apply those little shaker pieces. Pretty much the same as the one that we've just done with the gift box, all right? So again, I use the foam tape behind here to raise that front die and allow space to pop those shaker pieces behind. The second one that we did was what I called the stacked method, and this was actually repeat cutting your dies. Now, if I can just get this for our Charlotte to have a, where do we need to be? Let me get it. If you can have a look at that down there from the top. Brilliant, look at that. Superstar. Can you see how thick that one is?
Yeah.
And that's all made from card. There's no shaker foam in this one at all. Thank you, Charlotte. So what I've done there is I've cut that shape several times. We ended up with 8 layers of our matte black cardstock. So that's all 300 GSM cardstock. So you've got quite a substantial piece there that's got the depth in it for you to be able to pop those lovely shaker pieces behind it. So that was number 2. Number 3 is what I call an edge-to-edge shaker card. So in this instance, we're going to get our shaker pieces go right the way across the front of the card. They're not actually going to be enclosed in a topper or a shaker element. And you can do this with any type of sort of little storage compartments. Now, I buy these to keep some of my dies and things in, and I buy them in packs of 100. They're relatively inexpensive. And all it is, it's like a CD case. So it's about the same size as a CD case. I'm looking at just over 5 inches square. So that's the piece that I'm going to use as the front of my card. I know it's not easy for you guys to see. Let me just grab a piece of cardstock for you. There we go. Pop it on there. You can see better now what I'm talking about. All right, so it's got a little flap on the back that we're going to use as a hinge to attach it to some cardstock. And this is going to become the front of the card. And we're going to drop the shaker pieces inside the pocket and then seal it up. All right, so what I've done is I've prepared 1 or 2 pieces ready. So again, I've got my card back, which is literally 5 1/4 inches square, and this is just a piece of stamping card. So that's going to be the back panel. I've also then created another layer to go inside the back, so just like you would mat and layer there. But before we actually attach that, I'm going to seal the flap of that bag in between the two so that that's all tidy behind there. And we've got the front of our card opening with the details in the back. Now what I've done is I've just gone on and done a little bit more work on the actual card, on the carrier piece itself. So from that plain one, you can see there it's got the flap on the back. I've added some tape onto there ready to attach it to our card blank. And I've also got a piece of tape across the inside here. If I show you this one that's not got anything on it, there's actually a slightly lower edge on the inside than there is here, so that you can get your fingers in to get in and out of the packet. So if I've got this bit sealed, I've still got the gap here in the packet. So when we start shaking, we're going to end up with bits everywhere. So what I've done is I've run a piece of tape here that's going to help to seal this when it's stuck down. But then I could see that at the front. So all I've done is taken a couple of little bits of card. I've got some matte gold and a piece of white, which is going to be the theme, just to add a bit of decoration and hide that sort of workings behind it. And then I've got an extra piece of acetate, which again I'd started. You can actually, I can see this on screen now.
Yeah.
You see how frosted and milky that looks.
Definitely.
It's not clear at all.
No.
And that's because it's got that sort of piece on it again. If I take this off now and just literally release it from the edges, you can see underneath there then that we've got a perfectly nice, clear, really see-through piece of acetate.
Totally.
All right, so yeah, not all acetate comes with the coating on, and there is no easy way of telling whether it has or it hasn't other than looking at the quality of it. And what I'm going to do with this piece is pop this behind the front, just to give, because this is quite flimsy, because I want it to be a card front, I'm going to put the acetate behind it to give it a little bit of support. So construction-wise then, let me just think this through. We're going to put, I think we can fasten this one down first. So literally I'm going to take those liners off the back. Now you can do this with any kind of pocket. These just happen to be sealed on 3 sides, so they work great. But if you use the what I call the poly pockets.
Oh,
the
yes, for your
A4
ring
ones.
binders.
As long as it's sealed around the edges properly, you can use those.
Great.
I have some slightly bigger, probably more this size as well, that I use for storing stamp sets and things in. So anything like that will work for this particular technique. And what I want to do is line this one up now with the top of the card. So I'm literally, oops, move that bit out of the way a second. I'm literally going to pop that together on the fold, and then pop that flap onto the back there. So I've got these two now. This has essentially made my card. So I've got a front and a back now for the card. Because this is really, really floppy, that's where I'm going to bring in that other layer, all right? But I need to make sure I do it in the right order so that I don't seal things up before all the shaker pieces go in. So I think the next bit we're going to do is add, and this is just to cover up that detail in the background. So again, this is actually, it could be cardstock. I actually had some vellum hanging around, so I've just backed the vellum onto a piece of white card. Again, it makes it a bit more substantial so that you've got something to work with. So again, we'll use our tape pen, or if you want to use your wet glue, I would recommend your Collal All-Purpose. And I do flick between, I apologise because there's not a lot of consistency. I do flick between glues depending on what I'm doing. So sometimes I'll be using wet glue, sometimes I use the tape runner, and they all do the job that's intended. So again, that's just got the tiniest little border, 1/16 of an inch, all the way around, because I wanted to cover that. So the flap off here now is sealed nicely in the middle. It's all nice and secure. So that's not going anywhere. Okay, and then we're going to pop this one on the inside. So shall we do that bit? That's going to seal. No, I need to do this. It's all right. I'm like this in my craft room. Talking
yourself
to myself,
through it, yeah.
I need to put my shaker pieces in, because once we bring this over and fold it down, it's going to stick to the acetate and seal this part here. So I'm going to leave the acetate for a second, and my apologies, I still have got lots of these left, and I know you guys will. We've not got them on the website anymore, but I know lots of you bought them when we did have them in stock. So I'm actually using up through mine, and that's where I get a lot of the mixers from, but I just wanted to pop the gold and keep with that theme. So I'm going to pop some of these into the gap. Oops, probably a few too many there, but hey-ho. Make sure they all go down inside that little space in the packet there. And then make sure you've got no sequins on here. And then we're going to take this piece off. And I'm also just going to pop a little bit behind where I've got that extra trim on the front there, just to make sure that that back piece is totally sealed. I don't want those little guys escaping when we give it a shake. All right, so take the liner off that one. And then now I'm going to pop in my piece of acetate, which is going to make essentially the card front. So again, just line that up with everything. And I'm going to fold that one onto here rather than dislodging those shaker pieces.
Okay.
And then we've actually got these as our card. So when we stand it up now, you've got the shaker pieces are totally in that see-through card front. Okay. Now I'm also going to pop just a really simple little sentiment on here that says birthday wish. And because this is going to be stuck down, I can get away with popping a little piece of tape underneath, because this layer is still loose with the acetate. Where I'm going to pop this one down, I'm going to cheat and secure it here.
Clever.
Underneath, so that it's not sort of flopping about as much. Nobody's going to see that bit now because it's going to be where my sentiment sticks across the top. So again, a little bit of tape, and again you can pop this onto foam tape if you wish. You could pop it onto some little foam pads, however you want to attach. I've just kept it all flat for the purpose of this one, and then literally pop this where I'd put that piece behind. It's about there. And again, it's a way of making that shaker pocket.
That's
so that's
clever.
become the front of the card, edge to edge.
Yeah.
And you've got all those shaker pieces trapped inside there. But again, just a different way. Again, just make it look totally different than if we created the topper with the shaker elements in that was a feature on a card. This time, the shaker's actually become the card itself.
That's
So that was number 3. That was the 3 different ways that I've come up with of using your shaker pieces.
I have never seen that technique before. That is so clever. I absolutely love it. I have had a quick question in, if this is all right, from Thea. Thea sounds like you're getting real creative today, and I love this. Okay, interesting question and idea. Just want to make a shaker card with gel in it.
Oh yes,
and some fish.
That was something else I was wanting to do and run out of time.
And then seal the pocket. Any suggestions?
Yep. So these are perfect for that. Anything that's already sealed 3 ways through are perfect for it. Now, if you're working with gel, you do need to make sure that the whole thing is secure. And what I mean by gel is, but I use hand gel. And you can get the hand gel in lots of pretty colours. So, for example, if you're wanting to do an underwater theme, if you put the blue hand gel in, it looks gorgeous. But you do need to make sure that it's totally sealed. Now, I've actually got, I nearly brought it with me, but I thought it might cause chaos because obviously it's not a crafter's companion product. But I've actually got a tool at home that's like, the only way I can describe it, it's like a little mini soldering iron. And the metal tip on it gets hot. And what you can do on a longer metal ruler is you actually seal against the edge of the ruler with the metal tip. And what it does is it fuses together like it has done, you know, like they come from the manufacturer.
Yes. Yeah.
And that way you're going to get a complete seal around all 4 sides. And that means with that tool, you can make bags any size you want. If I decided I just wanted a little small element, I could literally seal one side, pop the gel inside, seal the other side, and you've got a little compartment like a pouch that's completely sealed. Now, I don't know of any other way of doing that without the tool, and I can't for the life of me remember what it's called. But I will have a look when I get home, and I know that you can buy them from a lot of the online stores. We don't stock it here at Crafter's Companion. I'm not sure if it's not a memory keeper's tool, which will be available online. We are memory keepers. And I can't just think in my head what the name of it is. But as I say, it looks like it's about this long. And it's got a plastic handle, and then it's got the metal wand on the end, and that's the bit that gets warm. But what it does, I know my mum used to have a fancy gadget machine when we were little that did a similar kind of thing, sealing bags for the freezer and things like that.
Clever.
And we used to put it in the machine, and it was warm, and she used to run like that with it, and it sealed bags that you could then put in the freezer with foodstuff and things like that in. So similar kind of technique, but it's obviously the heat that makes the seal on it. But yeah, if you're going to use gel, you do need to be doubly sure. And what I would probably do would be pop the gel bag that I've made inside another one, just to be doubly sure that in case, there's always that risk that if it gets damaged, you're going to get that seepage. And if you've got something wet, the rest of its history.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is something that you want to think very careful about. It is doable, and I'm sure there are actually, if you have a look out there on somewhere like YouTube, there's probably loads of tutorials on how to do them. But that's the way I would, and I've got it on my list of things to do for this show, but literally run out of time.
No, that's
There's only so much we can fit in, isn't there?
Of course there is. We have found a tool that you could use, which is on a well-known river
That's
location.
the one, Fuse Tool. Fuse Tool, that's the one.
And it's called the Fuse Tool.
That's the one.
It is the memory
I thought it was We Are
keepers.
Memory Keepers, yeah. Fuse Tool, so it's fusing that area closed, yeah. Well done.
I wonder if there's a way to do like a laminate type, because that's kind of what it's doing, isn't it? Anyway, have a look online. Loads of people saying, very nice job, what a great idea, saving this show. Very clever concept from Mary, all about your lovely designs. Crafty Angie's in talking about our tri-blend pencils as well, saying, I've used the pencils over the tri-blend, one friend said it made her want to learn to colour, but the pencils make a huge difference. That's fabulous. Thank you for those messages. I know that I've had a couple more questions in, and I will squeeze them in for the final hour of our show. If you do have any questions, get them into us now. If it's anything about what's on the show, or if you just know multimedia, mixed media expert, lovely Jan will be able to help you out. Let me remind you, you've got a couple of minutes to check out your baskets as we're heading on into a short break. And whilst we do, remember, if you wanted to save some money, we've got Add More, Save More on today. That means if you add one item to your basket and check it out, you're instantly saving 21%. If you add 2 items, you're saving 22%. And you can add up to 5 items and save yourself 25% without a code needed. It all sorts it out at checkout for you. So go, peruse the show, see what you fancy, and check out whilst we're finding out more about this.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% of your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Quick Buy, all your crafting must-haves in a flash. Draw, decorate, and customize your world with the colorful Spectrum Noir acrylic paint markers. Each premium paint marker gives opaque coverage on ceramic, glass, wood, and let's not forget paper, cardstock, and canvas. These versatile markers are filled with highly pigmented premium water-based paint, offering beautiful, rich, and smooth coverage. The colors can be blended together, and the fast-drying opaque paint is ideal for layering. A 3mm bullet tip offers smooth strokes, and a precision valve mechanism allows rich and consistent flow with no clogging. Quick Buy, all your crafting must-haves in a flash. Quick Buy, all your crafting must-haves in a flash.
Make light work of intricate and delicate die-cutting designs with the Pokey Tool from Crafter's Companion. An absolute essential part of any paper crafter's kit, its precise tip has been designed to release the tiniest pieces to reveal your finished results with absolute precision. And to make sure your finished project is perfect, each Pokey Tool has a rubber tip protector, so there's no risk of damaging your die-cutting design or yourself. The Crafter's Companion Pokey Tool is such an essential craft item, we've included 2 in each set.
Quick Buy, get yours now. Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
Quiet. The neighbours.
I'm all out of Zoom. I'm so lost without you. I'm not singing.
Lisa, if you email in, don't send a picture of your air fryer. Make sure it's something creative.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us. You give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
Joy, there's not a dry eye in the studio here. Debbie's welling up, I'm welling up.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV. Create every day.
Welcome back to Crafters TV. Quite musical that, wasn't it? I felt like I was in a musical then. Like Jan's going to get up on the table and just start dancing to a song and a routine that we all know. Anyway, it was just really odd. It's lovely to have you back here at Crafters TV. My name is Becky. How's your day going? Would you like a floral flourish to be added to your day? If you would, you could well be in the right location, because not only have we got add more, save more today, which means the more things you check out your basket at once, the more you save, up to 25%. But also we have got these fabulous floral frames, which are fabulous and very popular on the show. People have been going ahead and shopping the show, and these are one of our most popular items from the show today. Floral frame stamp and die collection I've got with 24 elements, and we've got the wonderful Jan to show us some inspiration with these in a moment. Before that though, let me tell you that I'm so happy for you, because you have got this wonderful design with the stamps. I've also got for a special friend, and this one's with your lilies. As you can see, you're getting the shape to cut these out, so you get the aperture, and then you have the stamp that perfectly lines up, and you have a different choice of sentiments that go in them. Then I'm bringing to you your what does that say? You mean so much to me. This one is with sort of your lovely poppy designs. This one, of course, we have actually stamped sort of portrait, but you can use them landscape, portrait, it is up to you. As well as that, I've got with love from me to you. This one's got the rose detail in it. We had people messaging in before saying in America, Mother's Day is in May. But March the 8th is International Women's Day. It is indeedy-do. Yes, so great idea with these ones for International Women's Day. Mother's Day here in the UK is first Sunday of March, isn't it? Or April? 3rd. March, isn't it?
I think it's March.
Is it the 24th? It's always a Sunday, isn't it? Mothering Sunday.
About the 27th, I think it is here.
Possibly. 3rd week. Changes each year though, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
It
yes.
does. So yeah, it's coming up this one, but this would be lovely for Mother's Day. I've got some daisies here in your Heartfelt Times as well. 27th it is, 27th in the UK. Pop it in your diaries. This one's got the lovely daisy details on there. And I've got this one, which is one of my favourites. May all your dreams come true. I love this one. It's wildflowers. So this one, I would say, is probably the only one that you would probably want to use just in the one-page orientation. But you've got loads in here. You've got daisies, you've got foxgloves in here, butterflies, and much more. So all of these designs today, and just as a reminder, you are saving way more than you're spending. In fact, it's almost double what you're saving, because you're spending £27.27, but you're saving nearly £51, or saving nearly $59. So this is a really cool opportunity. If you would like to treat yourself to these have been one of the most popular. Hey up, don't let me forget though, save, add more, save more, you could save an extra 21 to 25% on top of this, no code needed. So head on to our website if you've been thinking about it for a while and you want to treat yourself to it. Should we get some inspiration from Jan of the types of things we can do? Jan, what have you got there? Oh,
I've got some samples for you again, Becky, and then we're going to demonstrate with the one that you like, actually, the one with those foxgloves on.
So, lovely.
But yeah, these are gorgeous. You know, this is back into my world. I love stamping. It's like I love playing with the die cuts, but I'm most happy stamping and colouring mediums. So I've actually got those colour blend pencils to do a little bit of work with today. So just to show you a few ideas here where you can stamp out the design, and like Becky said, they lend themselves to either going portrait or landscape, depending on which way you pop your sentiment in the middle there. Pattern paper behind them, you can see there's a perfect aperture there for those shaker pieces, acetate behind it, vellum behind it, however you want to trim them up. And again, just going through the different flowers, different colours there. That's the lilies on that one. Absolutely beautiful. They've all got their own sort of unique aperture with them to fit with the design. And then you've got those lovely roses on that one, using the ovals there. We've got those gorgeous daisies. Again, that one's been done landscape. But you can see, if ignore the sentiment, you can see, you know, that would work just as well if you turned it up portrait. And then we've got the poppies on that one.
Oh,
beautiful. And again, I think anything that's stamped means that you can recreate. So, you know, it lends yourself to maybe decoupage in some of the flowers and things like that. And then this, I love this one. I'm with you, Becky. I just absolutely adore those wildflowers. That's the one. And I love the little aperture window in the top as well there. You can just see at the top that little aperture that's got the clouds behind it on that particular one. So that's the one that we're actually going to do. So we're going to stamp it out, and I'm going to show you a little bit of those colour blend pencils with this one to see those in action as well. So what I've done is I've got my stamping platform at the ready. I've got a piece of Nina smooth cardstock in there, or it can be your stamping card, whichever you prefer. And then I'm actually going to take out that beautiful, look at the size of that. This is actually nearly 2.5 across and nearly 2 3/4. That's not right. That may be the aperture. That's the aperture, Jan. Yeah, I'm going to say the stamp looks bigger than that. We're looking at about 5.5 inches by 4 on the stamp. So again, really nice focal sized stamp there. So we're going to take that one off and pop it onto my cardstock there with the platform. And then I've just chosen, I like the flagstone ink to stamp with. I use that quite a lot rather than the black. I like the, it's not quite as harsh as the black. It's just, again, personal choice. There are 4 different colourways in the finesse range. So again, you know, whatever suits your project. But I do like the flagstone, I must admit. So I'm just giving it a good covering flat so that I can see the stamp, but always go with the tapping. The tapping is what encourages that ink to release. And you can see that's much darker now that I've tapped over it than I did when I just smoothed it over the actual stamp itself. So give good covering of ink. And again, if you're using that magnetic platform, you've got that option to overstamp if for any reason it doesn't catch all the pieces. But I usually just sort of work my way along the stamp and then swap hands down the other side so that I've got nice pressure all across it. And it does seem to work. Stamping's better stood up. You've got your body weight over it then rather than being sat. And again, just look at that. Absolutely stunning. It really is. So let's pop that to one side. Pop those back in a second. And then I'm going to take this off and just pop it on a piece of white cardstock there to work on. And then, as I say, I've got my, I've brought the shade and tone ones, which was the majority of what I use. I've got one finished, but I just wanted to show you how easy. You know, if you're not into your watercolouring, or if you're not particularly bothered about the alcohol markers, this is another option for you, and there are so many different ways to work with these. Now, this was me working at home. This is my sort of colour chart. That's as simple as it gets. It's a case of scribble the colour out. If it's the right colour, made a note of it so that I can see which ones I want to use. And I've picked 2 that work together because you can still keep a little bit of shading going on in here. I want the anemone and the violet one. There we go. So this is going to be for the foxgloves here. And again, wherever you want to start, the secret with these is to lie down a little bit of colour first. So don't worry too much on getting that depth of colour straight away. I'm literally just going to add a covering onto my card. And your cardstock's got what's called a tooth to it. And I don't mean like our teeth. It's actually, even though this is a smooth cardstock, there's still areas that colour can get into. So when I was doing my training for this, our Leanne explained this perfectly. She said, if you imagine your cardstock is sort of, the tooth in the cardstock is like a little well. Can you just see there?
Yeah.
And she said, when you lay the first layer of light colour down, it starts filling the well in. And then when you go over it again, you're going to get a bit more depth of colour and it fills it in more. And then when you add your sort of final layer to bring it up smooth, you're going to get that depth of colour rather than pressing on and trying to fill it all in at one go. That's how I was taught, and I was taught by one of the best there with our Leanne. So again, just nice and light. And if you do tend to be a little bit heavy-handed, the further away from the nib that you hold it, the lighter it will be. You can't actually press on with a pencil when you're holding it up here. So again, however it works, just apply that light colour. And then once you've got to a point where you've got some sort of saturation on there with the colour, you can then start thinking about where do you want to add any sort of shading, or if you're wanting to leave areas that are highlighted and things like that. So I'm just going to go for all over colour there. And you can see when I go back over it now, it's adding a bit more depth of colour. And then the second one is slightly darker. So again, I'm just going to add some areas into here that are a little bit darker to give that sort of shade. And again, there's no right or wrong with this. Just have a play and enjoy. The colouring should be nice and relaxing for you. It shouldn't be too stressful. And at the end of the day, I always think, you've stamped on a piece of card. If it goes horribly wrong, turn it over and stamp on the other side, or just grab a new piece.
Yeah.
And then go back, like you do with the alcohol markers. I'm going to go back to the lighter one, and just where those edges are from that darker shade, I'm just blending it in slightly with that lighter colour. So you can see there's a little bit of gradation there in colour. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of turquoisey green there, just on the tops of the flowers there.
Lovely. That's nice. Mary is saying, these floral frames are so pretty. Stamping was my first love.
It was mine too. And I still, to this day, I still love stamping and colouring. Any kind of colouring mediums, and I'm sort of happy, whether it's pencils, alcohol markers, paints, textures, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I still like the colouring aspect of things, I really do.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And then
Do
I'm
feel free to let us know on socials what your first crafting love was.
So again, I'm just going to I'm not going to do all of this because I've got one already done, but again, just the daisies, I didn't want a solid colour. So again, I've just brought a hint of colour into the petals there. And again, that next one's a wee bit darker. So the ones at the back are going to be darker than the ones at the front. And it just adds that little hint of colour in there. Now, I did use the two sets. This one's actually shade and tone, and I did use the naturals as well because I've got some lighter colours in there. And I'll show you where I got to in a second. I just want to show you the concept with the die. So the die piece has been made to fit where the gap is now. So it's got a die cutting edge in the centre of that piece. So if you actually line this up against your artwork here, I'm just going to tape it down because I don't want it to move out of that place. And I'm also checking here that I've got sort of a parallel edge with that straight part of the die to the edge of my card. And again, I'm going to stick it on the inside because this is the piece that it's going to cut away. And then literally, I've just grabbed the smaller plates for this one because it is only a little aperture there, just to pop that through the Gemini and show you how that cuts out. And again, depending on the size of your project, that little aperture die would definitely fit through the smaller machines, but like I've said before, it depends on the size of the piece of card that you're working on. This easily fits on the junior plates. It would also fit through the MIDI because it is just literally that aperture. And again, when we take that away, you can see that we've got that perfect outline that follows the artwork here, and then you've got that piece in frame. So that is exactly what I've done at home. And the only thing that I've done different, apart from finish the colouring, is I've cut it a second time. So again, when I were at top of the show, I said that the Nina's quite a thin cardstock, and if it's going to be supporting the foam to do the shaker element, I wanted it to be a bit more substantial. So all I've done is cut it again in stamping card, and I actually stuck these together before I cut. That little outline die went through both of these in the Gemini. So you can see there that where we've transferred the colour, we've got all that lovely colour, and that's all done with pencils. There is no alcohol markers in there, and it leaves the most gorgeous sheen as well. Because of the wax content in those pencils, you get that really, really nice sort of shimmery element on there. And that's not by adding anything to it, it is just purely the wax in the crayons. And then we've got our aperture at the ready. So that's going to be the main part of our card. We've got a background element here that's going to go literally matted and layered on there. We're also going to bring in the foam tape again to create that aperture. And then this time, instead of using acetate, I thought, right, see what else we can use. And you've got a couple of really, really nice sentiments on here. I love the "May all your dreams come true." And then there's also "the best things in life are free." So this time I've chosen a little tiny piece of vellum. So we're actually going to have a bit more of a cloudy window in this one. So you'll get the illusion that there are things moving behind it. It just won't be quite as vivid as being able to see through a piece of acetate. But I just thought it was a nice alternative and just show you something a little bit different again. So first thing we're going to do is get that stuck down. And again, I'm just going to pop a little bit of the red line tape. You can use your tape runner. If you want to use wet glue, it will work as well. But again, because this is going to be where the shaker pieces are going, it needs to be secure. It needs to make sure that all the sides are stuck down nicely so that none of those little pesky shaker pieces can escape out of the gaps there. So I'm just going to put this all the way around here, like so. Whoops. And then this is going to go behind that aperture to seal that front piece. I'm also just going to use my tape pen lightly around that edge to make sure that the actual aperture is sealed completely. And then this one is going to go, let's move some of these out of the way. Again, we're going to pop this so that we can see that sentiment through the gap. Okay, so just get this lined up so that my sentiment is about in the middle of the gap there, and get that stuck onto the back. So again, now we've got that lovely sort of dreamy,
that's pretty,
like sort of translucent effect going on, rather than it being completely transparent. And then again, we need to build up that back casing with the foam tape. So again, like I said before, this is where we're going to put some of those shaker pieces in. So make sure, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the foam to build up, to make sure that it's stable on the card blank. But I'm also going to bring my tape round the aperture as well, because what we want, we don't want to put all those shaker pieces in and them all end up down here behind the card.
Yeah.
So if we build that bridge again, like we did behind the one that we did with the box, I want to contain my shaker pieces behind the aperture. So I'm just going to make sure that these are properly squeezed up together there, and right up to that side as well, so that we've got a little place here now that those pieces are going to fit in. So again, we're doing very well so far. Whoa, let's try again. So take off the backing tape from your foam. And then again, I've just popped a few little sequin mixes together, and I've brought in another type of bead this time. Again, I went through my, my drawer and had a look what I'd got in the drawer, and I've got some lovely little seed beads.
Yes.
That come, I've had them ages, I don't even know where they, I'm not sure if my daughter didn't give them me. She used to do jewellery making quite a few years ago. She got into jewellery making, and then she didn't have the time to sort of devote to it, so she passed a lot of the stuff on. Can you use these, Mum? So off they went in the drawer, and they've been sat there ages, but they're little tiny seed beads. They've got a hole through the centre, and this time I've actually popped some of those in the mix. So I've got sequins in here, and all sorts of bits and pieces, but I've also popped some of those little beads in there as well, just to give it a bit more, you know, sort of interest. So what we're going to do again is this one's going to go on here, so I know I need my shaker pieces in this top corner here. So again, we'll empty some of those out and just try and keep them contained in that area here. There's a couple of little iridescent butterflies in there as well, really, really pretty. These are out of the box. Can you see these?
Oh, so cute.
Lovely, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So again, they'll sort of all float around in there. You can see those little beads there. Again, just to give a different texture. And as I say, we're not going to see as much of this one. You'll just get the impression that there are things moving round. And again, I like to just add, and this is just me, you know, if we've gone to the trouble of doing all these shakers, I want to make sure that it really is secure.
Yeah.
So I do like to add that little bit of wet glue all the way around as well, just to make sure that I'm going to get a really good stick. The wet glue seeps into the fibres of your card, so you know that you're going to get that really nice, even stick there. So again, pop that one down and then let it dry for a second or two. As I say, don't be too eager and start shaking it straight away. No. Let it settle. And then I've just, to decorate the edge of there, because I thought it does look a little bit plain, we've got our centre in there. All I've done, again, been through the drawer, and I've got some lilac twine and a little flower charm, and all I'm going to do is actually pop this round the outside like this. So we're going to start here, and I'm going to take it around, just wrap it, and I want the little flower to end up somewhere up here. So cross it over like so, and then I'm going to trap this one underneath where, and literally just tie that. You can tie it in a bow. Excuse me? Those lorries going by again.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you guys can hear that at home, but they do that air horn, and it makes you jump. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So
no,
again-
it's not quite a, because that's more like a clown, isn't it? Like a clown nose. But yeah, they don't half like to say hello to each other.
So again, just down that one side, it's not covering up too much there. And then once we're actually, I think I might pop a little tiny foam pad under that
Under the charm.
charm to stop it moving about so much.
Don't forget, we have got foam pads on offer in today's show, and there is an offer, a top set offer, because we've got add more, save more, which means if you add one thing to your basket or your shopping trolley or shopping cart, then you will get 21% off that order. But if you add 2 things, you get 22% off. All the way up to 5 items, you can get 25% off if you're checking out on 5 items in today's shows. So do bear that in mind and have a little look on our website for more.
You can still see these behind the vellum, even the
Yeah, you can.
butterflies there.
You can.
But it just gives you a completely different look to what you get with the acetate. So again, you know, just a different way of incorporating those shaker pieces. But I love that stamp. Honestly, it would lend itself to the decoupage as well. You know, you could cut some of the flower heads again and just layer them up over the top. Would look beautiful. Really pretty. And again, that's those colour blend pencils in there as well for you today. Whoops! Keep falling off me.
Don't do that,
My
Jan.
feet keep coming off my little thingy. I should stop leaning on it. Yep, so that's number 5. I've got one more to try and fit in before we do any kind of vote, Becky, because the last one is totally different again.
Oh, I can't wait. Fab show so many people like Crafty Angie saying, Jan, I think you're going to make an artist out of me. Your tips are enlightening. Jenny is in saying, I learned so much during Jan's classes, and there is even more education to come from Jan soon. But let me just give you a moment or three to remind you of what you get in this offering so that you can recreate that stunning design and so much more time and time and time and time again. In this floral frame stamp and die, we're getting this one, which is Make All Your Dreams Come True. This is the one we've just used. You don't just get that though. Heartfelt, I'm bringing to you. I've got With Love From Me to You. I've got You Mean So Much to Me. I've got Thinking of You and For a Special Friend. We've also got I'm So Happy for You, Celebrate Your Day. All of these, bar possibly the one that Jan's just used, can be used portrait landscape. So the opportunities on these for you to mix and match them with some of our other elements is massive. For example, there was one I was thinking of with that one before. I love the idea of kind of maybe adding special friend and then on the inside using one of these cut out to give it a little bit of a snazzy feel. So if you want to seize the moment on that, you are spending, in fact, you're not even spending 27.27, are you? You're not. My maths ain't a strong point. Just for ease, let's say you're spending 25 quid because you're getting 21% off if you check out just this alone. But actually you're saving nearly £51 or nearly $59. That's incredible, right? So if you do want to get your hands on it now, be your chance. I have also got for you in today's show the wonderful sentiments and the framed sentiment stamp, the die, sorry, and stamps that we've shown you earlier on. Now, Jan showed us a magical way, magical doesn't have a H in it, magical way of layering these up to create a shaker. We are going to be talking more about these in a moment. So let me remind you, you're getting thank you and your so much stamp. You're getting your hello, miss you. You are getting your, sorry, these ones are attached. You're getting your birthday wishes from me to you. And you're getting your with love forever and always. All of these 25% saving, but you're getting up to another 25% off today. So well worth getting involved with us whilst you can. Shall we get more crafting on the way? Let's do it. I'm Jan with you.
Ooh, now then, this one's different. I've not seen this one done here. I've seen it done elsewhere. I apologise if one of the team has done it, because I don't get a chance to watch everything. But again, this is not using a product on the show. This is just using things that you've got in your stash.
Okay.
So, for example, for this one, I've got my nesting dies.
Lovely.
All right, so I've got my stitched circles and I've got my scalloped edge circles that we're going to use for this one. And again, I've got lots prepared on this one for you. I'm going to talk you through where I've got to. So if you remember, if you were with us earlier on in the show, we did that stacked effect where we did this one without the use of foam tape. We're going to go back to that particular method now. And again, what I've done is I've chosen a couple of sizes of my dies. So let's just get those out. And this is just how I store mine at home to try and alleviate some of the space. So again, I've got, I think it was the second of that one, yep, and it will be that one, I think. Yep. So what I did start off with was literally have a look at the two dies, and I've taken one scalloped one and one circle one, and again, just line them up so that you've got a nice even space around the outside edge, and then tape them together, because you're going to cut this several times. This is going to be the equivalent of that black frame that we cut when we were making the hello one earlier. So again, make sure that you're happy with it and stick it together so that you've got this becomes one die, and then you're going to pop it through your machine and create yourself a set of these lovely little scalloped frames. Now the centerpieces you can use, I've got a couple of those to use in the project, but again, keep them for sentiments elsewhere. So what I did, again, I've taken several of them and started sticking them together, just like we did with those black frames. So I've got about half a dozen stuck together. Now this is craft card, and again it's a decent weight, so it's starting to create a well in the centre. So let's stick this one on as well, and again I've got just my tacky glue for this. So again I just tend to go all the way around the outside of that scallop, and then just line them up. Because you've cut them with the die, they're all going to line up nicely to create that little frame that's now got some depth to it, which is going to allow us to put those sequins inside, or your mix, whatever it is you're working with. Okay, and then I've done the same again, but this time I've added a little bit of book paper to it as well before I cut it. So it's got the craft card on one side and a little bit of book paper. So I've cut that scallop, so it's exactly the same size again, and this is going to be my top section. And then inside there I want to trap that piece of acetate again, or like we did with the last one, it could be a piece of vellum. So I've put my red line tape on here ready, and you can curve the red line. It ruttles the liner, but don't worry about that, because when you take this off, your tape's fine and it will lie flat once you've stuck it down. So on the back of that one, we're going to pop our piece of acetate, and just seal again to make sure that all those little pieces stay inside that shape that we've got there. So you want to make sure that that's sealed well. And I always, where I've used the acetate and the red line, I always tend to use the bone folder just to squish any air bubbles out, and you know you've got a really good seal now. So we've now got the front piece that's secure with the acetate in there so that it's sealed. So that's going to be the front. And then I've got lots of bits ready for you to go with this one. So I've also, again, taken these apart and just used the scalloped one on its own to create a scalloped circle. And I've used some paper, and I think this was from the Caring Thoughts paper pad that I've just pulled it out of. It was just, I wanted a peachy tone, and that fit the description, and that's going to be the back. So this is going to be our little shaker topper. So we can actually put this together ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that stack that we've got here onto the back plate. So again, just carry on. If you prefer to use the red line tape, just like I did with that thin one. But again, we're just going to line this up on the back of here so that we've created that little space now for all those pieces to fit in. So I was talking about making toppers earlier, and this one it's going to have a top and a bottom on it with the shakers inside. It's actually a piece in its own right. So let's get that one put together. I've got just a few little bits of shaker mix again. I've got some peachy tones in here, a little bit of iridescent in there, just all sorts of mixture. And this time I can put it in here because I can see through it. I can put the lid on top there. Okay, so again, we've now got this one at the ready. And because it's got the acetate on again, I'm going to go with my red line tape.
Okay.
So again, even though it's a straight tape, you can curve it around. Just literally take it around the outside edge. And as I say, it will sort of rutle the liner on it. But as long as the back piece is stuck down, you can curve it all the way around. And then when you take the liner off, the tape will lie flat anyway. But where there's acetate concerned, you can stick it with wet glue. I just find that you get a better adhesion with the tape. And like I said, because we're working with shaker pieces, we want to make sure that everything is stuck down really well. So again, give that a nice good press into place. And then once we lift that liner off, come along. There we go.
Loads of people loving this. Excellent tip, says Mary.
And
Peg
then this
says,
one's going to stick on here.
Peg says, I'm loving this piece that you're making.
Wait while you see the finished piece. I love I've not made one of these for a long time. They are different. So again, I've just lined that up, and that's literally going to be my little shaker topper now. This is going to be the front very front piece of my project. So you can see this is all contained now. It's all sealed. I've used the layers of cardstock to make that depth. I didn't go anywhere near the foam tape on this one, and you've got enough room in there to get that shaker pieces going. So that's as far as we've got so far. And then it's actually going to be what's called a lollipop card. All right, and it does literally look like a lollipop when we're finished. So you've seen us make the rosettes before. We've actually got a rosette die in our, I think it was the garden party range.
Yes, you're right.
Now, the trick with rosettes is, depending on how big you want them, the wider the strip. So this is actually slightly wider than one in the garden party. I think that was just 1 inch, so obviously it's going to make a slightly smaller rosette. The bigger you want it, the wider you make your strip to start off with. So my piece here measured 2.5 inches, my strips, and I cut 2 strips from a sheet of 12-inch paper, and I've scored it every 3/4 of an inch. And then it's literally just a mountain valley to make an accordion fold, and then literally you squish them all together and seal it. This is going to be the reverse of it, and this is the front. All right. Now I've put the hot glue gun on because I think this is probably going to be the best way to stick a lot of these things together. So we're going to start and build up the front. So again, bits out of the old stash here. So first of all, I'm just going to fill this bit in to make sure that it's, because this is the base of it, I want to make sure that this is all stuck nicely. So again, a little bit of glue on the back of this one, just to make sure that that's all held together. And then we're going to start layering up on top of there. So again, out of the stash, little doilies, whatever it is you've got in your stash. So again, I'm just going to put some little tiny dabs of hot glue on there because it dries nice and quick. And we're going to build up a few layers for the front of our design, using those same circles, one of the larger ones, piece of pearl peach cardstock. So again, just use the hot glue there to make sure that it's nicely stuck together, and we're going to build up these layers. And then this is a different one that I had. So again, we've only got very, very small areas, so I'm just going to put just in odd one or two. You don't need it to be totally stuck down for this, because that shaker element's going to hold it together, and I'm not too worried because we're going to cover the centre up. So if that glue pops through the centre there, I'm not too worried about that. So that's going to layer up on top of this one. So it's all about those layers, and then this is going to be our centre. So again, we're going to pop this one. It's trying to stick because of that bit sticking out there. Make sure that one's nice and secure. Make sure my wording's the right way. It goes all the way around here, so there isn't a right and wrong from the edge. So we're just going to pop that in the middle. So that's the front of my design. And then when I turn it over, I've got a similar kind of thing, but not as many layers for the back. So I've gone with the doily again, just to echo the front there. And then this time I've just used some pieces that were left over from when I was doing the die cutting. So we've got the full scallop there in that peach card. And then this was one of the centres that came out of those original pieces. And again, I've added the book paper just to keep the theme going. That's going to go in the centre there. And then I've just stamped out a quick sentiment that says "just for you" on the back. Now, as far as gifting this, I would probably make a little notelet card to go with it if you wanted to pop any particular sentiment. And then I've got, these are cardboard party straws. And again, Johnny laughs every time I tell about what I've got kept in the craft drawers. There's all sorts of stuff. So this one, we're actually going to pop into the back here, and this is where the lollipop aspect comes from. So again, I'm just going to put some hot glue around the top edge of that straw, and then just pop it. Make sure if you've got anything that's got a right way, so the wording here, I'm going to work into that one and just stick that, make sure it's nice and secure in the back there. All right, so I've got a few of those little strands going on. I've shown you the technique for those before. When you've finished, is to just pop the heat tool over them, and all those little strands will melt into magical thin air. Okay, and then I've got some bits of trim to trim it up with. So we've got some pieces from the front. So the little bow die there that we've seen on before is going to go at the bottom here. So we can pop that one on. I'm going to pop that one here. And then I've just got 2 or 3 different elements. I've got a piece of ribbon, I've got a piece of lace, and I've just got a few little pearl trims. And we're going to hang all these from the bottom here. So again, let's just move all those other bits out of the way for a second. Oops, get away. Turn it over. And again, I want to trap these at the back here. So we've got a piece of the ribbon. And just be aware, if you're using the hot glue gun, I don't think I've got any sensation left in my fingers through all the years, but just be aware that it is hot glue, so don't get too attached to it there. Again, we've got that one, and I want to lift up the doily if I can. I think I've stuck it in place. So that these actually tuck underneath. And then again, we've got those pearls just at the back there. So roughly the centre, and then I'm going to let that bit dry for a second and just trim, whoops, the bottom of those. So we want a nice edge on these at the bottom. Same with the ribbon, that one's already got a nice finish on it, but just to make it look a little bit more pleasing. So that's that bit done. And then I've just last bit, I've just got some little tiny weeny embellishments left. So again, little heart that's been cut out of the peach to match. And that's going to go to one side here. And then I've got a tiny little sentiment that says from the heart. So again, just make sure, as I say, when you're using that hot glue that you don't get too close to it. They always say that crafters make the best thieves.
Yeah.
Because none of us have got any fingerprints left. Again there. And then again, just one of my dies at home, I've just cut some little tiny butterflies just to sort of finish off. Might not use them all. Just where we think there's a little gap, we can pop a couple of those in place just as extra. I might put the other 2 on the back just to link it together. Okay, turn it over and we'll pop those 2 on this side. So yeah, lollipop cards. As I say, if you want to write a message, you can actually include an area that opens, like a little card on the back. So you can write a little secret message in there if you wish. Or alternatively, just a little, you just want like a little 4x4 gift card to go with it, just if you want to write a special message in it for the recipient. Okay. So let's pop that one back out of the way, but just showing you again another way to use that lovely little shaker embellishment there is the feature on the front. Okay. Okay. And then the back. So you've got your shaker pieces in the middle there.
I think Rhonda sums it up beautifully. This is poetry. Holy Batman, that's so cute! Totally agree! Holy Batman!
That's brilliant!
Thank you so much for that. Loads of you messaging in. Yuta is saying, great shaker lolly. Thanks for the demo. Jenny's saying this is so adorable. Well, we have got to remind you of all of the adorableness from our show because we've had a lot of demos today. So Jan, remind us, what was the
I think
order?
we've got 6 there altogether, haven't we? Which is what I planned. I've actually got through them all. Yeah, so let me just move those dies out of the way. So we started off, bless you over there.
Excuse me, I did try and do a sort of like an inner face one. It didn't work. I apologise.
So right at the top of the show then, my plan today was to try and show you different ways of using the shaker elements, because you've seen us make shaker cards such a lot. So this was the traditional way with the foam tape, and that was using those aperture cut and emboss folders. So that was number one. All right, gone to the seaside. And then we did that stacked method where we cut out several die cuts to make the shaker piece there, and that was those lovely sentiments. So that was number 2 with the gold in there. Number 3, we went back to the original method and did them on top of that gift box for Mother's Day with those beautiful frames there as your aperture. So that was number 3. Number 4 was that third style, that edge-to-edge style here. So we've got that lovely clear front, but your shaker pieces go all the way round the cardstock, all the way from edge to edge of it there. So that was number 4. Number 5 was the stamp set, and we used vellum this time instead of the acetate to create that little window with the stamps and the colour blend pencils. Number 5. And number 6, that last one, was our little lollipop shaker with the little element there. It is a bit tall, that one, isn't it? Lay it on its side a bit there, like that. So your little wand or your lollipop, and it's got the shaker pieces in the middle. Number 6.
Wow.
So yes, I managed to get through them all, and then I've just got a few embellishments to show you at the end, but they're not part of the vote.
Absolutely.
So, blimey.
You've been busy.
Busy shaking all day.
Now it's your turn to get busy. If you would like to start voting, we would absolutely love that. Head on over to our socials and vote between 1 and 6. And don't forget, now is a perfect time to check out your baskets, especially if you want 25% off. All you have to do is check out 5 things in one go for an extra 25% off. So go ahead, go vote, and we'll be back in a few.
Quick Buy, all your crafty must-haves in a flash. Take all the hard work out of patchwork with the Gemini Build-A-Block Patchwork System. This innovative collection of multimedia dies allows you to create patchwork blocks with ease and total accuracy. This set includes 18 dies to cut a range of shapes and sizes for patchwork or quilting projects. They can cut multiple layers of fabric at once. They include an accurate 1/4 inch seam allowance, plus all of your pieces are cut exactly the same size every time. Follow your own creative inspiration or look through the 20 patterns laid out in the guide. Not enough? There's an additional 60 patterns online. And right now, we have amazing offers on the Gemini Build-A-Block Patchwork System. Quick Buy, get yours now. Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
Quiet. The neighbours.
I'm all out of Zoom. I'm so lost without you. I'm not singing.
Lisa, if you email in, don't send a picture of your air fryer. Make sure it's something creative.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us. You give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
Joy, there's not a dry eye in the studio here. Debbie's welling up, I'm welling up.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV, create every day. Quick Buy, all your crafting must-haves in a flash. Put away your tape measure and fabric scissors. The Threader's Fabric Cutter offers accuracy and precision with every cut. This handy tool slices through fabric in a guillotine style. Its ergonomic design features a comfortable and protective handle, so it's safe and easy to use whether you're right or left-handed. Its 45mm rotary blade will cut up to 6 layers of fabric at a time, so your sewing, quilting, and upholstery project times are cut down to size. It's equipped with a measuring guide in metric and imperial for a perfectly accurate cut every time. The built-in grid ruler has 30°, 45°, and 60° angle lines, so you can cut fabric on any angle, including the bias. Quick Buy, all your crafty must-haves in a flash.
Welcome back to Crafters TV. Thanks for joining us. I will let you know that we have had a very busy day. I've already had the winner in, Jan. Have you? Yeah. I'm keeping it under me. What's this?
Keeping us guessing.
The oldie hat. Yeah, what type of hat would that be that I would doff? My top hat, possibly. Yeah, I'm not really a top hat person, more of a flat cap. Anyway, we will be announcing the winner of Craft of the Show in just a little bit. Before that, though, we've still got loads of inspiration that Jan's going to fill us in on. But let me just remind you on some of our key features of today's show, because some of these are getting lower in stock than they were, say, 2 hours ago. So let me let you know about the slim line cut and emboss folders. These we had a fabulous demonstration from the wonderful Jan earlier on. These ones create texture, so the lovely pattern areas you can see here, they're not drawn on or stenciled on, they are elevated due to this cool bit of kit that gives those different depths. These sections here are metal. You run them through your die cutting machine and they create these liftable elements. You've got some butterflies, you've got some flowers in here for Mother's Day, not too far off, they'll be perfect. Spring blooms I've got in here for you. You could use this sideways and almost fill it in with more paper pieced flowers. Could be a little bit like festival hair garland, could be a thought. As well as that, I've got for you your interlocking circles, which I think are just so fun. I think they're kind of really geometric and quite in right now. I've got your entwined hearts. I'm bringing to you the interlocking squares. Again, that geometric is so in right now. I love the idea of maybe even paper piecing elements here of sections of scenic photographs might be unusual. I'm bringing to you your square chevrons. This is what Jan demoed with before when she made that wonderful Under the Sea card. I've also got your hearts and we have got your pretty polka dots. Great for a frame, this, wouldn't it? Up, especially if you're going or you've been on a cruise ship, like you're peeping through the portholes. Anyway, whatever you decide to do with these, you've got a massive discount, as you can see. And I will remind you, today you have the opportunity to add more, save more. So if these are the only things you buy right now, you check these out at £87.69. You get 21% discount. That's it. No code needed. It's all sorted at checkout. But if you check out this and say, what else? We did the chunky glitter earlier on, didn't we? This was less than a tenner, I think, wasn't it? So if you added this, you will now save 22% on the whole thing. And we do that up to 5 items. So you can save an added 25% off on top of whatever your discount already is, which is super cool. Definitely worth making the most of it. That's not the only treat we have had today for you. We've also had some floral frames even. I've got for you another section that Jan did a wonderful set of demos with using the vellum to create a shaker this time. May all of your dreams come true, which is a wonderful selection of wildflowers. As well as that, we had your heartfelt thanks. Don't forget, you get 2 sentiment stamps with each of these. So heartfelt thanks is one of them, but you also get in here, I'm so thankful for you. Then I'm bringing to you the with love from me to you. Oh, it'd be really nice if you had a me to you bear. I don't know if they have them in America. They must do, mustn't they? You know the little grey bears with the blue snoots? Yeah, they're me to you bears, so that could be a cute one if you like gifting them. I've also got You Mean So Much to Me with the poppies. Really nice for a Remembrance Sunday piece, actually, as well as others. Then I'm bringing to you for a special friend, and I have got I'm so happy for you as well in here. The saving on this is ginormous because £27.27 or $31.39. Take away 21% from that instantly, even if that's all you buy. You are saving yourself way more than you are spending. You're going to be saving yourself easily sort of $52 or even $60 worth. It's really cool. So well worth treating yourself now whilst you have that opportunity at a discount. Should we have some more inspiration from Jan? Oh, you don't have to twist my arm. I'm with you, Jan.
These are just little embellishments that I'd actually got at home that's sort of been made using that shaker sort of theory. And again, you know, these are ones that I've talked about Happy Mail before. So if you're sending sort of friends Happy Mail, they're great to pop in like your little loaded envelopes and things like that. They could easily be, you know, if you were decided you wanted to do a card later on, they could easily be a topper for a card. But this one's been done with a couple of the heart dies there, and again I've got the foam tape in that one, so again that's just got some lovely little iridescent stars in, so that's one of them. This was very, very similar to the one we've just made on the lollipop, so again cute. That's the stacked pieces that we just did. I showed you how to do there, so a little circle one there with different shaker pieces in. We've got one that looks a little bit like a Polaroid there, so the little photograph frame with those shakers in. So again, just using your square dies, and then I've used the guillotine to do the back and front there. That's got the foam in again. This is a cute little one. This is actually a tag. And it's been made with a tag topper, but inside, again, goes back to my days when I was doing Happy Mail. It's got the tiniest little packet with one of those sealed tops in, just popped inside there with some to gift, so that whoever the recipient is can take this out and they can use the little shaker pieces. So again, really, really cute way if you like doing that Happy Mail and sending things out to friends, or if you work, you know, and a lot of you work, do the swaps and things like that. Yeah. The great little sort of, just little things to pop in just as thank yous at the end. And then this one's actually a little paper clip. So this one will fit, you know, if you've got a journal or a book or anything like that, it will literally just clip onto the top to keep your page. And again, that's got those gorgeous little seed beads. So this is just actually a nesting circle die, and then one of my little heart dies cut into the middle again. So just a few different ideas for you there of things that you can make using that shaker concept. Depending, you know, as I say, these could easily be card toppers. You know, and as I say, the Happy Mail side of it, when I was doing that, we used to send these as little gifts, so sort of examples of little big shaker mix that someone else could actually take out and use in one of their projects then, yeah. So just a few more ideas. They're not demos as such for you. I just thought I'd pop them in because I keep these in a little box, sort of there, ready if I ever wanted one, you know, quick to use or make a quick card. Like I said, this would look lovely on the top of a card. So yeah, just a few last little bits of inspiration for you there before we finish off for the afternoon here.
They are magical. Thank you so much. Aren't they great? Are you inspired? Well, tell you what, you have got the total opportunity to go ahead, shop our show and treat yourself to any goodies that you might need. We've had glitters on today, we've had perfect apertures, we've had like foam collections that are really helpful, and we have also had some colour elements as well in the form of our Colour Blend Spectrum Noir pencils. Limited stock on this offer. No surprise when they're half price, but they're half price with an extra 21% off. You are getting in here 2 different colour collections. I have got your shade and tone, and I've got your neutrals as well here. So your shade and tone helps you add depth, it helps you create dimension, but also you can create beautiful pictures like this. And then you've got your naturals, which has got those wonderful, almost like exotic bird colours, I like to think of it as. You've got the great outdoor hues, including but not limited to your grass, your fern green and your bark colours. And then I've also got in the other collection, which is your shade and tones, some of those wonderful aquatic hues, including the likes of your night sky, your aquatic blue, your Atlantic blue, for example. So you're getting loads of colours, and you are getting the blending fluid, which takes the quality of these to the next level. And just as a reminder, on that exquisite card that Jan made earlier on, she used these pencils, although in the end, it almost looked like she'd used a pen, because sort of vivid nature that these create, because when you layer them up, the saturation just gets more and more and more and more intense. So if you do want to recreate the card that Jan made for us earlier on, this is a great way to go. But again, just as a wee reminder, you are on limited stock now, which means I've only got a small percentage of these left. And as a reminder, when these sell out, I can't guarantee you when we'll have them back in. So if it is something you've fancied for a while, today could be your day, especially as you've got the add more and save more. Now, say that again. Oh, it's time. It's time for the winner. Now, you had quite a job on your hands, as did our wonderful social media team, Rachel, bless her, going through and counting them all. But we had 6 makes from the wonderful Jan today. And the winner, with the most votes voted for by you at home, was Lollipop 6.
It was a bit different, wasn't it, that one? Yep. Okay. So that was the lollipop card with that little shaker element, independent, that we made with that stacked sort of system for the shaker pieces. So thank you very much, guys.
Oh, no, Jan,
It's like
thank
a little magic
you.
wand, isn't it?
Thank
Sprinkling
you.
Bit of sparkle everywhere.
Yeah.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Yeah, it has. Also, I thought if you did it a little bit of a shorter stick, it'd be quite nice as almost like a rattle for a christening one,
Yes,
wouldn't
you could
it?
actually do it in baby colours or like the gender reveal parties, things like
Yeah.
that. They look nice if you've got, you know, if you've done like a silk flower arrangement as well. They look nice slotted
that's
in
a
as
great idea.
a sort of sentiment in those as well, yeah. Thank you very much, guys.
I love it. Thank you so much, Jan. Right, we're off, but only for an hour. Just enough time for you to treat yourself to maybe a snack or possibly a brew, or maybe to get some more crafting goodies later. Because trust me, you're going to want to join us for our launch party. We are doing shaped card bases. Now, this is next level creativity extraordinaire. If you have missed out, if you haven't managed to see these properly before, and you want something to surprise you, you're definitely going to want to join us. That is starting in an hour, so set your alarm right here, right now, because we're going to be back in crafting very, very shortly. I will just remind you one final time before we head on into our last break, you've got just a little bit time left over to add more, save more. So do remember that if you add a few items to your basket, up to 5 of them, you can save 25%. Well worth doing. So if you've got a few things in your basket, go check them out, grab yourself a cuppa, come back, see more of myself and the wonderful team with extra creativity for our launch party in an hour. See you then, my love.